Welcome to the first chapter of our journey into the hidden foundations of the New World. This series is designed specifically for those who seek to unravel the mysteries of the past while drifting into a state of total tranquility. If you suffer from insomnia or a restless mind, let these words be your anchor. We have slowed down the pace of history to match the rhythm of your breath. Turn down your lights, settle into your blankets, and let the echoes of the 16th century guide you into a deep, dreamless sleep. The year is 1587. Imagine the Atlantic Ocean not as a map, but as a terrifying, infinite void. A slate-grey expanse where the salt spray stings your eyes and the wind carries the weight of 1,000 miles of emptiness. You are standing on the deck of a wooden galleon, the Lion. Under your feet, the massive oak timbers groan and creak like a living creature, a rhythmic heartbeat that has carried you across the world. The air is thick with the smell of wet hemp rope, old pine, and the cold, metallic scent of the deep sea. You are approaching Roanoke Island, a narrow strip of sand and ancient forest that is about to become a ghost in the annals of time. John White stands at the bow, staring into the dark tree line of the Carolina coast. He is a man of ink and parchment, an artist who sees the world in sketches. Behind him, he has left the comforts of London, the cobblestone streets, the warm hearths, the familiar tolling of church bells. Ahead of him is only the New World, a place of towering cedars and silent watchers. He leaves 115 souls on the shore, including his own daughter and his newborn granddaughter, Virginia Dare. He promises to return. He has to return. But the sea is a cruel master, and war with the Spanish Armada anchors him in England for 3 long years. 3 years of wondering if they are cold. 3 years of wondering if they are even alive. When White finally returns in 1590, the sun is setting, casting long, skeletal shadows across the dunes. The silence he finds is not just quiet. It is heavy. It is a physical weight that presses against his chest. As he climbs the bank toward the settlement, there is no smoke from the chimneys. No sound of children playing. No barking dogs. The houses have been taken down, as if moved with care, not destroyed in haste. And then he sees it. Carved into a sturdy wooden post of the fort, in bold, capital letters, is the word, Croatoan. No cross, which was the pre-arranged signal for distress. Just 7 letters, etched into the grain of the wood, staring back at him like a riddle from the grave. Listen to the sound of the wind through the live oaks. It is the same wind that White heard that evening. A low, haunting whistle that seems to carry the whispers of the missing. Were they absorbed into the tribes? Did they succumb to the hunger of the forest? Or did they encounter something on that island that defies our understanding of reality? The Lost Colony is the cornerstone of American mystery, a foundation built on a disappearance. As you feel your body becoming heavier, sinking into your bed, think of the vastness of that wilderness. In 1587, America was not a nation. It was a dark, endless forest that seemed to swallow the light of the stars. The mystery of the blue-eyed natives began here. For centuries, travelers would tell stories of tribes deep in the interior who spoke a broken form of Elizabethan English, who possessed grey eyes and fair skin. They were the living echoes of Roanoke, ghosts walking in the flesh. But as the fog rolls in over the modern-day coast, the truth remains buried under layers of sand and centuries of silence. The island kept its secrets. John White died never knowing the fate of his family, his heart anchored to a patch of woods that refused to speak. You are now drifting further away from the noise of the modern world, moving into that same ancient silence. The rhythmic crashing of the waves against the shore is the only clock that matters here. 1 wave for the past, 1 for the present. The shadows of the tall pines are stretching out, reaching for you, inviting you to let go of your worries. The story of Roanoke is not a story of fear, but a story of the great unknown. It reminds us that even at the birth of a country, there were paths that led into the mist and never came back. Feel the cool air of the 16th century on your skin. The scent of wood smoke and damp earth is all around you. You are safe. You are a silent observer of a time long forgotten. The ink on the old maps is fading. The names of the settlers are becoming whispers in the wind. Virginia Dare, the first English child born in this soil, is now just a legend of a white doe roaming the forests. The mystery is a blanket, warm and thick, covering the island of Roanoke in a perpetual twilight. As your eyes grow heavy and your thoughts begin to blur, let the image of that carved post, Croatoan, flicker and fade. It is a word with no answer, a door that leads only to sleep. The Atlantic continues its slow, eternal pulse, washing away the footprints of the lost, leaving only the peace of the deep, dark woods. Rest now. The first chapter is written in the sand, and the tide is coming in to smooth it over. You are part of the history now, a quiet soul resting in the cradle of the new world. The forest is still. The sea is calm. And the secrets of Roanoke are tucked away, safe within the heart of the night. Sleep. Sleep. The Bronze Age Voyages. As you settle deeper into the stillness, let the coastal fog of Roanoke fade behind you. We are moving inland now, away from the salt air and into the heart of the Great Lakes region, where the water is fresh, cold, and deep. Thousands of years before the first European sails were spotted on the horizon, this land was already being harvested. Beneath the roots of the ancient forests of Michigan and Wisconsin lie thousands of prehistoric copper mines, pits dug by hands that history has forgotten. The scale of these mines is staggering. It is estimated that over 500 million pounds of high-grade copper were removed from these pits over a period of 1,000 years. Yet, where did it go? The indigenous tribes of the time used very little of it. To find the answer, we must look across the sea, to the Bronze Age empires of Europe and the Mediterranean. Copper was the gold of that era, the essential ingredient for bronze. As you breathe slowly and feel the weight of your limbs, imagine ancient ships that shouldn't have existed, navigating the treacherous North Atlantic, guided by the stars and the secret currents of the deep. The silence of the northern woods is different from the coast. It is a dense, heavy silence, muffled by moss and the soft needles of the white pine. Picture the New World not as a wilderness, but as a vast, untapped treasure vault. These ancient voyagers didn't come to build cities. They came for the red metal. They left behind strange clues, Stonehenge in New England that align perfectly with the summer solstice, carvings of ships in the rocks of West Virginia that resemble the vessels of the Phoenicians, and the mysterious Kensington runestone, found clutched in the roots of an old aspen tree. Imagine the miners at work. The rhythmic thud of stone hammers against the earth, a sound that echoed through these valleys 3,000 years ago. They worked in the short summer months, racing against the coming snow. When the cold winds began to howl down from the Arctic, they would disappear back into the mist of the Atlantic, their hulls heavy with the copper of a continent that officially didn't exist yet. The history we are taught is a thin veil. Underneath it lies a world of secret trade routes and maritime masters who cross the sea of darkness without fear. Feel the cool, damp air of a Michigan morning. The smell of cedar and damp earth is overwhelming. You are walking through a forest where the ground is pockmarked with these ancient pits, now filled with leaves and time. There is a sense of being watched by the past, a feeling that the land remembers the touch of those bronze tools. These were the first explorers, men whose names were never written in books, but whose sweat is literally mixed with the soil of the Midwest. The forest has spent centuries trying to cover their tracks, but the mystery remains, etched into the very stones. As your mind drifts, consider the possibility that America has always been a crossroads. Long before Columbus, long before the Vikings, the New World was a well-kept secret of the Old World's elite. It was a place of myth, the legendary island of the Hesperides or the Far Land mentioned in ancient scrolls. The voyagers kept their maps hidden in locked chests, protecting their source of wealth. To the common person, the ocean ended at the horizon, but to the secret navigators, the horizon was just a gateway to this silent, copper-rich paradise. The stars above the Great Lakes are the same stars that guided those ancient prows. Think of the North Star, steady and unmoving, a beacon in the infinite dark. You are safe in your bed, as steady as that star, while the currents of history flow around you. The sound of a distant loon calling over the water is the only thing that breaks the peace. It is a lonely, beautiful sound that has echoed across these lakes for millennia. It is the sound of a world that belongs to the earth, not to the maps of men. The mines are quiet now. The hammers have been silent for ages. The copper that was taken has long since been melted into swords that crumbled to dust or crowns that were buried in kings' tombs across the ocean. But the holes in the earth remain, silent witnesses to a global connection that shouldn't have been possible. You are sinking deeper into the soft darkness of the night, letting the weight of these thousands of years press you into a restful sleep. There is no need for answers, only the comfort of the mystery. The Great Lakes are like inland seas, their depths holding secrets we may never uncover. Shipwrecks, ancient altars, and the bones of those who didn't survive the voyage. But for you, the water is calm. The surface is like glass, reflecting the moon in a perfect, silver line. You are drifting on that surface, moving toward the edge of your own consciousness, where history becomes a dream. The ancient voyagers have returned home, and the forest is at peace. Rest your head. The copper-red sun has set, and the silver moon of the north has taken its place. The story of the ancient miners is a lullaby, a rhythmic reminder that we are all just visitors on this ancient, mysterious soil. Let the silence of the Michigan woods wrap around you like a heavy quilt. You are part of the landscape now, a quiet soul in a land that keeps its own time. Sleep, sleep, the architects of the valley. As the silver moon of the Great Lakes begins to fade, we journey southward, leaving behind the cold copper mines and entering the lush, rolling hills of the Ohio Valley. The air here is warmer, thicker with the scent of damp grass, honeysuckle, and ancient earth. Thousands of years ago, before the first colonial brick was laid, this valley was a sacred landscape, a massive, geometric masterpiece created by a people who built not with stone, but with the earth itself. These are the mound builders, the Adna and Hopewell civilizations. As you settle into the soft contour of your pillow, imagine a world where the ground beneath you is shaped into massive serpents, perfect circles, and giant octagons that stretch for miles. These were not just piles of dirt, they were sophisticated observatories, aligned with the precision of a Swiss watch to the complex movements of the moon and the sun. The silence here is older than the woods. It is the silence of a forgotten science. Imagine standing at the foot of the Great Serpent Mound. It is a humid summer night, and the fireflies dance like tiny, falling stars in the tall grass. The mound coils like a living creature for over 1,300 feet, a massive snake of earth swallowing an egg. It is a monument that can only be truly understood from the sky, yet it was built by people who never left the ground. As you breathe in the stillness, think of the thousands of baskets of earth, carried one by one, to create this ritualistic giant. Each handful of soil is a heartbeat of a civilization that saw the earth as a canvas for the divine. The geometric precision of the Newark earthworks is even more staggering. The circles and octagons are so perfect that they vary by only an inch over hundreds of feet. How did they measure the land? How did they know the 18-year cycle of the moon? These questions are whispers in the dark, mysteries that the modern world cannot fully grasp. They were a people of peace and trade, with obsidian from the Rockies and shells from the Gulf of Mexico found buried in their sacred sites. The heart of America was a crossroads of a massive, continental network, long before the first highway was paved. Feel the heavy, grounding energy of the Ohio soil. It is a dark, rich loam that holds the memory of 1,000,000 footsteps. You are walking along the high ridges of these mounds, the tall grass brushing against your hands. The wind here carries the distant echo of a flute, a soft, hollow sound that drifts through the walnut trees. These people did not vanish in violence. They simply moved into the shadows of time, leaving their massive, geometric signatures for us to find. The land itself is a library, and the mounds are the books. As your body becomes even more relaxed, consider the giant legends of this region. Early settlers in the 1800s claimed to find skeletons of immense size buried within these mounds. Warriors 7 to 8 feet tall, wearing copper armor and strange jewelry. These reports, once common in American newspapers, have slowly faded into the fringe of history, ignored by the textbooks but kept alive in the local lore of the valley. Who were these titans? Were they the master architects who designed these lunar alignments? The earth remains silent, keeping its children safe in its deep, dark embrace. The night air in the valley is still and protective. The sound of a distant cricket is the only rhythm you need to follow. You are drifting into a place where the boundaries between the past and the present are as thin as silk. The mound builders saw the world as a living organism, a place where the sky and the earth were in a constant, rhythmic dance. You are part of that dance now, a quiet participant in the eternal cycle of the seasons. Your mind is as open and vast as the Ohio sky, free of the clutter of the day. The mounds have survived the plow, the weather, and the centuries. They stand as quiet sentinels in the middle of cornfields and modern towns, remnants of a time when humanity lived in perfect alignment with the cosmos. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the great serpent guide you. Its coils are a path to the unknown, a journey into the heart of the American mystery that leads only to peace. The grass is soft, the moon is high, and the valley is at rest. Think of the architects sitting on these hills under a sky much darker than our own. They watched the same stars you see in your dreams. They mapped the same moon that shines through your window. There is a deep, ancient comfort in knowing that this land has been loved and measured for millennia. You are safe in the hands of the earth, the same earth that was so carefully shaped into those sacred circles. The whispers of the Hopewell are a gentle lullaby, telling you that all is well. Rest now. The fireflies have dimmed their lights, and the mist is settling over the mounds. The secrets of the Ohio Valley are tucked away under the roots of the trees, waiting for the sun that is still many hours away. You are floating on a sea of soft, dark history, moving toward the edge of a deep, restorative sleep. The serpent is sleeping, the valley is silent, and you are home. Sleep. The Freemason's Grid. As the ancient mounds of the Ohio Valley fade into the mist behind you, we travel east, toward the humid, tidal marshes of the Potomac River. We are entering the heart of the American experiment, a city built from nothing but swamp and shadow. In 1791, George Washington looked upon this wild, mosquito-ridden land and saw more than just a capital. He saw a temple of stone and light. This is the story of Washington, D.C., a city designed not just for men, but for the stars. Imagine the scent of damp earth and river water as the sun sets over the Potomac. The architect, Pierre L'Enfant, sat in the flickering candlelight with a blank parchment and a compass, the same tool used by the great architects of the past. As you feel your breath slow and your body settle into the quiet of the night, think of the city as a living map. It is a labyrinth of diagonal avenues and hidden circles, a grid that mirrors the sacred geometry of the heavens. This was not a random design, it was an invitation to the divine. The layout of the city is a masterwork of Masonic symbolism. Look down from above, and you will see the square and the compass etched into the very streets that lead to the Capitol building. The White House and the Washington Monument are positioned with a precision that defies the technology of the era. They align with the rising of the sun on the summer solstice and the setting of the moon on the horizon. As you drift closer to sleep, imagine the city as a massive machine, a clock made of marble and granite, ticking in time with the universe. Why build on a swamp? Many said it was a foolish choice, a land of fever and mud. But the founding fathers, many of them high-ranking Freemasons, knew that water has memory, that the tides of the Potomac could act as a conduit for the energy they were trying to ground. They were building a new Rome, a second Egypt on the shores of a new continent. The Capitol dome sits upon a hill like a crown, overlooking a city that was meant to be the city of the sun. The silence of the DC night is a heavy, monumental silence, the silence of power and secrets. Feel the cool touch of the marble as you walk, in your mind, along the National Mall. The monuments are like white ghosts in the moonlight, their shadows stretching across the grass. The Washington Monument, a massive Egyptian obelisk, stands as a bridge between the earth and the sky. It is a symbol of stability, an unmoving axis in a world of change. You are as stable as that stone, anchored in your own quiet space, while the secrets of the city swirl around you like the night mist. The Federal Triangle is a geometric ritual in plain sight. Its angles are calculated to reflect the light of the stars, specifically the constellation of Virgo, the celestial mother. This city was dedicated not just to liberty, but to the cosmic order. As you sink deeper into your blankets, consider the apotheosis of Washington painted inside the Capitol dome. It shows the first president rising into the clouds, surrounded by gods and goddesses. It is a vision of a human becoming something more, a reminder that this nation was founded on a belief in the infinite potential of the soul. The air in the Capitol is still, and the distant hum of the city is like a low, vibrating chord. You are floating on that vibration, moving further away from the noise of politics and toward the peace of the symbols. The geometry of the streets is a lullaby, a rhythmic repetition of circles and squares that calms the mind and centers the spirit. Everything is in its right place. The map of the city is a map of the human mind, seeking balance, seeking light, and seeking a home in the vastness of the night. Think of the surveyors who stood in these marshes with their brass instruments, measuring the light of the stars against the darkness of the earth. They were the new navigators, guiding the ship of state into uncharted spiritual waters. They left behind a legacy that is written in stone, for those with eyes to see. But for you, the secrets are just a gentle background, a soft hum that reminds you that you are part of a much larger, more magnificent design. The city is a temple, and tonight, the temple is at peace. The Potomac flows quietly toward the sea, carrying the reflections of the monuments in its dark waters. The shadows of the White House are long and protective. There is a sense of deep, historical safety here, the safety of a plan that has been in motion for centuries. You are drifting into a place where time doesn't matter, where the 18th century and the 21st century are just ripples on the same river. The sacred grid has been laid, the alignments are perfect, and the night is yours. Rest your head. The marble is cold, but the history is warm. The story of the Freemasons' grid is a song of order in a world of chaos. Let the diagonal lines of the city lead you toward the center of your own quiet world. The monuments are sleeping, the stars are watching, and the city of light is waiting for the dawn. But for now, there is only the silence and the deep, dark beauty of the American night. Sleep. Sleep. The citadel of the canyon. As the geometric marble of the capital fades into a distant memory, we travel far to the west, across the plains and into the arid, sun-scorched heart of Arizona. We are standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon, a mile-deep chasm that exposes the very bones of the earth. But tonight, we are not looking at the geology. We are looking for a door that was reportedly found in 1909 by an explorer named G. Kincaid, who claimed that deep within these red rock walls lay a massive, underground citadel built not by native tribes, but by an ancient Egyptian or Tibetan civilization. Imagine the smell of dry sagebrush and cooling sandstone as the desert sun dips below the horizon, turning the canyon into a sea of purple and gold. As you sink into your bed, feel the vastness of this space, a silence so profound it feels like a physical presence. Kincaid spoke of a cavern mouth located 2,000 feet above the riverbed, a place so inaccessible it had remained untouched for millennia. Inside, he claimed to find a city carved into the living rock, a labyrinth of tunnels, copper weapons, and a great hall containing a giant stone statue resembling Buddha. The shadows in the canyon are deep and ancient. As your breath slows, think of the rhythmic sound of a chisel against the rock, echoing through these tunnels 3,000 years ago. If the reports are true, this was an outpost of an empire that crossed the Pacific long before the history books began. They found sanctuary in the deepest reaches of the American wilderness, carving a temple to their gods in the red granite. The Smithsonian reportedly sent a team to investigate, but today, the official record is silent, a blank page in the archive of the West. Why here? Why the Grand Canyon? Many believe the canyon is more than just a landmark. They see it as a stargate or a sacred portal. The Hopi people speak of the Sipapu, the hole in the earth from which their ancestors emerged from a previous world. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine the cool, stale air of the tunnels, the scent of old dust and mineral salt. The walls are lined with hieroglyphs that tell of a great voyage and a lost homeland. This is a history written in the dark, away from the eyes of the world. Feel the stillness of the desert night. The air is thin and crisp, and the stars are so bright they seem to vibrate. You are safe in your own sanctuary, drifting on the edge of a discovery that could rewrite everything we know. The Egyptian names of the canyon peaks, the Tower of Ra, the Temple of Set, the Cheops Pyramid, were given by early geologists who saw the shapes of the East in the formations of the West. Or perhaps, they were naming what they instinctively felt was already there, hidden in plain sight. The Great Hall of the Citadel is silent now. The stone statues sit in perpetual meditation, watching the shadows dance across the cavern floor. In your mind, the tunnels are a series of calm, quiet rooms, each one leading you deeper into a state of total peace. There is no noise here, no rush, no modern chaos. Just the slow, steady drip of water from a stalactite, the heartbeat of the mountain. You are sinking into that same rhythm, letting the weight of the rock ground you and protect you. Consider the forbidden zones of the canyon, areas that are now strictly off limits to hikers and tourists, guarded by the government and the terrain itself. What lies behind those restricted borders? Is it the entrance to the Kincaid Cave? Or is it something even more profound? The mystery is a warm blanket, wrapping you in the comfort of the unknown. We don't need to see the city to feel its presence. We only need to listen to the whispers of the canyon wind. The Colorado River flows far below, a silver thread in the moonlight, carving its way through time. It has seen the rise and fall of civilizations we cannot name. It has carried the secrets of the red rock into the sea. You are like that river, moving steadily, peacefully, toward the ocean of your own dreams. The desert is a place of clarity, where the clutter of life is stripped away, leaving only the essential truth of the soul. Everything is quiet. Everything is still. Rest your head on the sandstone of the past. The story of the Citadel of the Canyon is a journey into the deep subconscious of America, a reminder that the land we walk upon has many flaws, many layers, and many voices. The hieroglyphs are fading into the darkness, and the stone gods are closing their eyes. You are safe in the cradle of the canyon, protected by the massive walls of history. The sun has long since set, and the desert belongs to the night. Sleep now. The tunnels are long and the air is cool. The path to the citadel is a path to rest, a way to leave the surface world behind and find peace in the center of the earth. The stars are watching over the rim, The river is singing to the stones, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the Arizona rock. Sleep. Sleep. The Vinland charts. As the desert heat of the Grand Canyon cools into a memory, we drift northward, away from the red rocks and toward the jagged, iron-gray coasts of Newfoundland and New England. The air here is sharp, smelling of salt spray, crushed pine needles, and the oncoming winter frost. Long before the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria were even a thought, the dragon-headed ships of the north were cutting through these freezing swells. This is the story of Vinland, a land of wild grapes and endless forests, mapped by the Norsemen 500 years before the world was ready to know it. Imagine the sound of the North Atlantic, a relentless, rhythmic thud of waves against a wooden hull. As you pull your blankets tighter, feel the biting chill of the wind that drove Leif Erikson toward the unknown. These were not just warriors, they were the greatest navigators of their age, men who read the flight of birds and the color of the water to find their way across a sea they called the Ocean of Darkness. To them, America was not a discovery, it was a resource, a place they called Vinland, a land of bounty and mystery. The silence of the northern coast is a crisp, lonely silence. In your mind, walk onto the shores of Lance Auxiliary Meadows, where the remains of sod-walled longhouses still sit in the earth like half-forgotten scars. This was more than a camp. It was a waypoint, a gateway into the interior of a continent. But the mystery goes deeper than Newfoundland. There are the maps, the Vinland maps, that show a sprawling landmass to the west of Greenland with startling accuracy, including a sophisticated understanding of the coastline that shouldn't have been possible for centuries. How far south did they go? As your breath slows to a deep, steady rhythm, think of the Spirit Pond runestones found in Maine, or the Narragansett stone in Rhode Island, ancient carvings that speak of Norse land claims and territorial markers. The history books keep them at the edge of the continent, but the land tells a different story. They were looking for timber, for furs, and for a place where a man could be free of the kings of Europe. They traded with the Skraelings, the native people, in a quiet, wary exchange of goods and glances, a meeting of two worlds in the deep silence of the American woods. Feel the heavy dampness of a coastal fog rolling in from the Atlantic. It blankets the spruce trees, turning them into dark, towering ghosts. You are safe in your own harbor, protected from the cold, while the echoes of the Viking past swirl around you. They left behind more than just stone tools. They left a genetic footprint and a legacy of exploration that became a secret of the northern mariners. The map was a treasure, a hidden chart passed down through generations of sailors until it eventually found its way into the hands of those who would claim the glory for themselves. The Norse sagas speak of a land of incredible beauty and terrifying spirits. They saw the New World as a realm of the gods, a place where the barrier between the physical and the spiritual was thin. As you sink deeper into relaxation, imagine sitting in a longhouse at night, the smell of peat smoke and roasted meat filling the air. Outside, the northern lights dance across the sky in curtains of green and violet, the same lights that the Norsemen saw as the shimmering armor of the Valkyries. You are part of that quiet, ancient circle now, watching the fire die down into glowing embers. Consider the possibility that the Vikings never truly left. Many believe they integrated, moving deeper into the Great Lakes and the Midwest, following the veins of copper we explored before. They became a whisper in the bloodline of the continent, the tall strangers of native legends. The mystery is a warm, heavy coat, shielding you from the noise of the modern world. We are not looking for evidence. We are looking for the feeling of that ancient, adventurous spirit, a spirit that saw the horizon not as a wall, but as an invitation. The dragon ships are resting now. Their timbers have long since returned to the earth, and their iron rivets have turned to rust. But the charts remain, etched into the collective memory of the sea. You are moving with the tide, drifting toward the edge of your own consciousness, where the maps of men no longer matter. The ocean is vast, the stars are clear, and the path to sleep is as steady as a Viking prow. Everything is in order. Everything is calm. Rest your head on the moss-covered stones of the north. The story of the Vinland charts is a reminder that truth is often older and more complex than the stories we are told. The Norsemen have sailed into the sunset, and the coast is quiet. The waves are whispering their names against the rocks, a soft, repetitive sound that lulls you into a state of total peace. You are safe in the cradle of the Atlantic, protected by the legends of the North. Sleep now. The fog is thick and the night is long. The way home is through the silence of the woods and the rhythm of the waves. The dragon is sleeping, the map is folded, and the new world is at peace. The stars are watching over the shore, the wind is singing to the trees, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American coast. Sleep. Sleep. The shadow architects. The silence of a colonial night is deep and heavy. In your mind, listen to the scratching of a quill against paper. Thomas Jefferson, sitting alone at his desk, was obsessed with the architecture of the mind and the order of nature. He and his peers spoke a language of symbols, the all-seeing eye, the unfinished pyramid, the square, and the compass. These were not mere decorations. They were tools to ground cosmic truths into the soil of a new continent. As your breath slows, think of the Great Seal of the United States, a design so packed with occult meaning that it feels like a talisman, a charm intended to protect the destiny of a people. Why the obsession with the number 13? It was more than just the number of colonies. In the ancient mystery schools, 13 represented the transformation from the physical to the spiritual, the 12 around the 1. Look at the eagle on the dollar bill, 13 arrows, 13 olives, 13 stars forming a hexagram. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine these men meeting in the Green Dragon Tavern in Boston, the place where the Tea Party was planned. They didn't just discuss strategy, they practiced rituals that aligned them with the great thinkers of Greece, Egypt, and Rome. They were building a temple of liberty, stone by invisible stone. Feel the quiet, intellectual weight of a private library in the 18th century. The walls are lined with leather-bound books on alchemy, astronomy, and philosophy. You are safe in the company of these quiet scholars, surrounded by the wisdom of the ages. Benjamin Franklin, a man of lightning and printing presses, was also a grand master of the Masons. He understood that to change the world, one must first change the inner self. The revolution was the outer manifestation of an inner awakening. The shadows on the wall are not just light and dark, they are the play of ideas that have survived for millennia. Consider the Lafayette sword or the Masonic aprons worn by the generals on the battlefield. Even in the heat of war, they remained committed to a brotherhood that transcended national borders. There are stories of British and American officers, mid-battle, sparing one another because they recognized a secret sign of distress. The mystery is a warm, protective cloak, shielding you from the chaos of the outside world. We are not looking for conspiracies. We are looking for the intentionality behind the creation of a nation designed to be a beacon of light in a dark world. The candles are burning low now, and the ink is dry on the declaration. The men have gone home to their estates, but their symbols remain, carved into the pediments of the buildings in D.C., hidden in the art of the Capitol, and woven into the very fabric of American life. As you sink deeper into relaxation, imagine the rising sun chair that Washington sat in during the Constitutional Convention. It wasn't just a chair, it was a symbol of a new dawn for humanity. You are part of that dawn now, a quiet witness to the birth of a dream that was written in the stars long before it was written on paper. The rhythm of the night is steady and calm. The sound of a distant horse's hooves on cobblestone is the only thing that breaks the silence. It is a lonely, rhythmic sound that reminds you that history is a journey, and you are currently at rest. The founding fathers have done their work, and the framework is secure. You are moving with the tide of time, drifting toward the center of your own consciousness, where the symbols of the past become the dreams of the future. Everything is in alignment. Everything is at peace. Rest your head on the pillow of history. The story of the shadow architects is a reminder that there is always more beneath the surface than what we see. The nation is a garden, and the seeds were planted with care and secret knowledge. The fire in the hearth has turned to soft, grey ash, and the room is quiet. The quill is down, the parchment is rolled, and the secrets are safe. You are tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American dream. Sleep now. The candles are out and the night is long. The path to rest is through the wisdom of the ages and the silence of the soul. The brothers are at rest. The work is finished, and the republic is sleeping. The stars are watching over the Capitol, the wind is whispering through the halls of history, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. Whispers of the Blue Ridge. As the ink dries on the secret documents of the Founding Fathers, we leave the brick-lined streets behind and travel toward the west, toward the ancient, undulating peaks of the Appalachian Mountains. These are not the jagged, young mountains of the Rockies. These are old, tired giants, worn down by millions of years of rain and wind. The air here is different, heavy with the scent of damp moss, blooming laurel, and a cool, blue mist that clings to the hollows like a silken shroud. This is the story of the whispers of the Blue Ridge, where Cherokee legends and pioneer sightings speak of a world that existed long before the dawn of man. Imagine standing on a high ridge as the sun begins to set, painting the sky in shades of bruised purple and deep indigo. As you pull your blankets closer, feel the ancient weight of these stones beneath you. To the Cherokee, these mountains were alive. They spoke of the Yanwitsunsdi, the little people who lived in the rocks, and the Nunahi, the immortals who resided in hidden townhouses within the peaks. These weren't just fairy tales. They were accounts of a parallel existence, a belief that the Appalachians are a thin place, where the veil between our world and the next is as fragile as a spider's web. The silence of the deep woods is absolute. In your mind, listen to the rhythmic drip of moisture from the leaves of a mountain magnolia. In the early 1800s, as pioneers pushed into these dark coves, they began to find things that defied explanation: massive skeletons buried in stone-lined graves, often with double rows of teeth and 6 fingers. These giants of the ridge appear in dozens of local town records and early newspapers. Who were these titans who once walked these misty trails? As your breath slows, think of the Judah-color rock in North Carolina, a massive soapstone boulder covered in mysterious petroglyphs that no one can fully translate, footprints of a giant, or a map of the stars. Why do the mountains look blue? Scientists say it's the hydrocarbons released by the trees, but the locals know it's the breath of the mountains themselves. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking through a silent, primeval forest of chestnut and oak. There are places here where the birds don't sing. Silent zones where the air feels electric and heavy. The Cherokee spoke of the Yucatina, a great winged serpent with a crystalline crest that lived in the deep pools of the mountain rivers. It is a world of shadows and light, where every shadow seems to have a memory. Feel the cool, damp earth of a mountain cavern. The temperature is a constant 55 degrees, a natural sanctuary from the world above. You are safe in this subterranean peace, surrounded by the slow, steady growth of stalactites that take 1,000 years to grow a single inch. The mountains are not just earth and stone, they are a living archive. Every cave, every hidden spring, holds a fragment of a history that was never written in books. You are sinking into that same geological time, where a century is just a blink of an eye and 1,000. Consider the brown mountain lights, those mysterious, glowing orbs that have floated above the Linville Gorge for centuries. They were seen by the native tribes, by the first surveyors, and they are still seen today. They are not planes, nor lanterns, nor swamp gas. They are the spirit fires of the Appalachians, a reminder that there are energies in this soil that we do not understand. The mystery is a warm, blue fog, wrapping you in a sense of wonder and safety. We don't need to explain the lights to feel their beauty. We only need to let them guide us into the dark. The wind through the gaps is like a low, haunting flute. It carries the songs of the Scots-Irish settlers who brought their own ghost stories from the old world and found they fit perfectly in these new, ancient hills. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the ridges and into the deep, dark valleys where the tall pines touch the stars. There is a sense of belonging here, a feeling that you are returning to a home you've always known but long forgotten. The mountains are cradling you, protecting you from the noise of the modern world. The peaks are quiet now, their silhouettes resting against a sky of infinite depth. The secrets of the Blue Ridge are tucked away in the deep ravines and the inaccessible cliffs. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the blue mist be your guide. It is a blanket of peace, a curtain that closes out the worries of the day. The little people have returned to their caves, the immortals are in their townhouses, and the giants are at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mountains is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the ancient granite. The story of the Whispers of the Ridge is a reminder that the world is much bigger and more mysterious than it appears on a map. The mountains have seen it all, the rise of the forests, the birth of the rivers, and the passing of countless souls. They are still here, and they will be here long after the sun rises tomorrow. You are safe in their shadow, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The fireflies in the hollow have gone dark, and the moon is resting on the ridge. Sleep now. The mist is thick and the night is deep. The path to rest is through the silence of the woods and the wisdom of the stones. The ridge is sleeping, the mist is settled, and the Appalachians are at peace. The stars are watching over the peaks, the wind is whispering through the pines, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American wilderness. Sleep, sleep, the bayou's veiled spirit. As the blue mist of the Appalachians thins behind you, we descend into the humid, moss-draped lowlands of the Mississippi Delta. We are entering the world of Louisiana, where the air is heavy with the scent of jasmine, damp earth, and the sweet, decaying smell of the swamp. This is a land built on silt and shadows, a place where the barrier between the living and the spirit world is as porous as the limestone beneath the soil. This is the story of the voodoo queens and the hidden tombs, the secret spiritual heartbeat of New Orleans and the dark, quiet whispers of the bayou. Imagine standing at the edge of a cypress swamp at midnight. The water is as dark as ink, perfectly still, reflecting the Spanish moss that hangs from the trees like tangled gray hair. As you sink deeper into your blankets, feel the warmth of the humid air against your skin. This is a place where history isn't just in books, it's in the water, the roots, and the rhythm of the drums that once echoed from Congo Square. Here, the secret history was carried in the hearts of the enslaved, who blended their ancestral African wisdom with the rituals of the New World to create a faith that could survive the darkest of times. The silence of the bayou is alive. In your mind, listen to the low, rhythmic croak of a bullfrog and the distant, mournful cry of an owl. In the mid-1800s, one name commanded more respect and fear than any politician: Marie Laveau, the voodoo queen of New Orleans. She walked the narrow, flickering streets of the French Quarter with a presence that felt ancient. People whispered that she could hear the thoughts of the city, that she could command the tides of the Mississippi itself. As your breath slows, think of the secret gatherings on the shores of Lake Pontchartrain, the white candles, the bowls of offerings, and the petitions whispered to the Loa, the spirits who act as intermediaries between man and the divine. Why are the dead buried above the ground here? Because the water table is so high, the city of New Orleans is literally floating. The cities of the dead, with their ornate marble tombs and iron gates, are not just cemeteries, they are neighborhoods for the ancestors. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking through St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. The moonlight turns the stone angels into glowing guardians. There is no fear here, only a deep sense of continuity. The dead are not gone, they are just resting behind a thin veil of brick and mortar, watching over the city they loved. You are safe in that same protective gaze. Feel the slow, sluggish pulse of the river. The Mississippi is the lifeblood of the continent, carrying the sediment and the secrets of 10,000 miles. In the bayou, time doesn't move in a straight line. It circles back on itself like a slow-moving eddy. You are sinking into that circular time, where the past is always present, and the present is just a dream of the future. The moss-covered oaks have seen centuries of rituals, secret handshakes, and hidden pacts. They stand as silent witnesses to a spiritual history that the official records chose to ignore. Consider the grease bags and the charms hidden under the floorboards of old Creole cottages. These were the tools of the hidden faith, a way to protect the home and the soul when the world outside was chaotic. The mystery is a warm, velvet night, wrapping you in a sense of belonging. We don't need to understand the spells to feel the power of the intention, the belief that the world is more than what we can see, and that we are never truly alone. The spirits of the Delta are not here to haunt. They are here to remind us of the strength of the human spirit. The wind through the cypress needles is like a soft, rhythmic brush against a drumhead. It carries the faint scent of incense and swamp lilies. You are moving with that scent, drifting over the dark water and into the deep, quiet heart of the marsh where the fireflies flicker like wandering souls. There is a deep, ancestral comfort here, a feeling that you are being cradled by the earth's own memory. The bayou is protecting you, shielding you from the noise of the modern world with its curtain of green and shadow. The French Quarter is quiet now, its cobblestones damp with the night mist. The secrets of the voodoo queens are tucked away in the hidden courtyards and the silent tombs. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the flickering candle be your guide. It is a light that never goes out, a symbol of the enduring power of faith and mystery. The drums have fallen silent, the offerings have been accepted, and the spirits are at rest. The land is old, the air is thick, and the heart of the Delta is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the past. The story of the bayou's veiled spirit is a reminder that the world is full of hidden dimensions and quiet wonders. The river has seen the rise of cities and the passing of generations, and it continues to flow, undisturbed. You are safe in its current, a quiet soul in a land of magic and memory. The light in the window has gone out, and the moon is reflecting in the dark, still water. Sleep now. The mist is heavy and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the swamp and the wisdom of the ancestors. The bayou is sleeping, the mist is settled, and New Orleans is at peace. The stars are watching over the tombs, the wind is whispering through the moss, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the Louisiana night. The shadows of the superstitions. As the humid warmth of the Louisiana bayou fades into the cool, dry air of the desert, we travel west, across the vast plains and into the jagged, formidable heart of the Arizona wilderness. Before us stand the Superstition Mountains, a fortress of volcanic rock that looms over the desert like a silent, brooding god. The air here is sharp with the scent of sun-baked dust, creosote, and the metallic tang of dry stone. This is the story of the Lost Dutchman's Mine, a tale of hidden gold, lethal curses, and the spectral guardians who watch over the most dangerous mountains in America. Imagine standing at the base of Weaver's Needle as the moon rises, casting long, needle-thin shadows across the canyon floor. As you settle into the stillness of your room, feel the immense silence of the desert, a silence that is not empty, but heavy with the weight of those who went into these hills and never returned. To the Apache, these mountains were the home of the thunder, a sacred and terrifying place where the entrance to the lower world was guarded by spirits. They warned that the gold hidden here belonged to the earth, and those who tried to take it would pay with their lives. The silence of the high desert is absolute. In your mind, listen to the low, rhythmic hum of the wind as it whistles through the saguaro cacti. In the late 1800s, a German immigrant named Jacob Waltz, the Dutchman, reportedly found a vein of gold so pure it glittered like a fallen star in the dark. On his deathbed, he left behind a series of cryptic clues. The setting sun shines into the mouth of my mine, and no miner will ever find it. Since then, thousands have searched, but the mountains have a way of swallowing the greedy. As your breath slows, think of the stone maps found in the desert, carved with strange symbols and lines that seem to lead everywhere and nowhere at once. Why does this land feel so treacherous? It is more than just the heat and the thorns. There are places in the superstitions where compasses spin wildly and the air feels unnaturally cold. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking through a narrow, winding canyon where the walls are so high they block out the sky. There is a sense of being watched from the ridges above, not by men, but by the Peralta stones and the ancient guardians of the Apache. The history of this gold is written in blood and disappearance, a secret kept by the rock itself. Feel the cool, grounding energy of the desert floor at night. The sand holds the heat of the day, releasing it slowly into the air. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the jagged peaks and the hidden precipices. The mountains are a living archive of a different kind of wealth, not the gold that men trade, but the wisdom of the silence. Every cave and every arroyo holds the echo of 1,000 years of mystery. You are sinking into that geological peace, where the gold is just a part of the stone, and the stone is a part of the eternal night. Consider the shadow of the needle. Legend says that at a specific time of day, on a specific day of the year, the shadow of Weaver's Needle points directly to the entrance of the mine. But the mountains are constantly shifting, the light is always changing, and the secret remains just out of reach. The mystery is a warm, dry breeze, wrapping you in a sense of awe. We don't need the gold to feel the richness of the story. The belief that some things are meant to remain hidden, protected by the mountain's own fierce soul. The wind through the rock formations is like a low, haunting chant. It carries the stories of the Peralta family and the explorers who followed the Dutchman's trail into the mist. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the ridges and into the deep, quiet basins where the coyotes sing to the moon. There is a deep, primal comfort here, a feeling that you are a guest in a land that belongs to the ages. The desert is protecting you, shielding you from the noise of the modern world with its vastness and its ancient, unyielding spirit. The peaks are quiet now, their jagged silhouettes resting against a sky crowded with stars. The secrets of the Dutchman's mine are tucked away in the inaccessible chimneys and the hidden vaults of the volcanic rock. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the desert moon be your guide. It is a silver coin in the sky, more valuable than any gold found in the earth. The searchers have gone home, the guardians are at rest, and the mountains are silent. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the Arizona desert is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the cool, dry pillow of the night. The story of the shadows of the superstitions is a reminder that the greatest treasures are the mysteries we cannot solve. The mountains have seen the rise of oceans and the passing of empires, and they remain unchanged. You are safe in their shadow, a quiet soul in a land of legends and light. The light in the canyon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silent, white sand. Sleep now. The desert is vast and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the canyons and the wisdom of the stones. The mountain is sleeping, the shadows are settled, and the superstitions are at peace. The stars are watching over the needle, the wind is whispering through the sage, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the Arizona night.
The caches of the Golden Circle. As the dry Arizona wind fades into the distance, we travel back toward the heart of the American continent, to the rolling hills and dense woodlands of the Midwest and the South. It is the mid-19th century, a time of brother against brother, smoke-filled battlefields, and a nation torn in two. But beneath the surface of the Civil War lies a much deeper, quieter conflict, a war of hidden wealth and secret alliances. This is the story of the lost treasures of the Civil War and the Knights of the Golden Circle, a shadow organization that reportedly buried millions in gold and silver to fund a second revolution that never came. Imagine the sound of a horse's hooves muffled by the soft, damp leaves of a Kentucky forest. It is a moonless night, and a small group of men moves in total silence, carrying heavy wooden crates marked with cryptic symbols. As you settle deeper into your blankets, feel the cool, nocturnal stillness of the countryside. These men were part of the Knights of the Golden Circle, a powerful secret society whose members allegedly included high-ranking generals and even outlaws like Jesse James. They believed that the war was only the beginning, and they began caching massive amounts of gold, silver, and weapons across the country, creating a treasure map etched into the landscape itself. The silence of these old woods is a watchful silence. In your mind, listen to the distant, rhythmic hoot of an owl and the soft rustle of a creek nearby. In the years following the war, strange signs began to appear on trees and rocks, carvings of turtles, snakes, and crosses that pointed toward hidden vaults. These were KGC sentinels, ingenious puzzles designed to protect the caches from anyone who didn't know the secret code. As your breath slows, think of the Confederate gold that vanished from the treasury in Richmond during the final days of the war. Millions of dollars in bullion disappeared into the night. Some say it was buried in the hills of Georgia, while others believe it remains hidden in the deep, dark caves of the Ozarks. Why were these treasures never recovered? Some say the sentinels, dedicated guardians of the order, watched over the sites for generations, passing the secret locations down from father to son. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking through a silent, moss-covered hollow where the air feels unnaturally still. You are standing near a rock formation that looks like a resting lion, its gaze fixed on a patch of earth that has remained undisturbed for over a century. The gold isn't just metal, it is a ghost of a forgotten dream, a weight that keeps the history of the land anchored in the shadows. Feel the grounding energy of the earth beneath you. The soil of the heartland is deep and rich, holding the secrets of a million lives. You are safe in your own quiet space, far from the echoes of the cavalry and the smoke of the cannons. The treasures are not meant for the light of day, they belong to the earth, nestled between the roots of ancient oaks and the limestone walls of hidden caverns. You are sinking into that same subterranean peace, where the gold is as silent as the stone, and the history is a soft, rhythmic pulse beneath your feet. Consider the Jesse James legends, that he wasn't just a common thief, but a high-level agent for the Golden Circle, using his robberies to fill the secret vaults of the order. The mystery is a warm, heavy quilt, protecting you from the noise of the modern world. We don't need to find the gold to feel the weight of the past, the belief that even in the midst of chaos, there were those who were planning for a future they would never see. The spirit of the heartland is a spirit of endurance, a quiet strength that survives the passing of time. The wind through the tall grass of the prairie is like a low, soothing hum. It carries the stories of the treasure hunters who spent their lives following the turtle signs, only to find that the earth does not give up its secrets easily. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the river valleys and into the deep, quiet woods where the fireflies act as tiny, golden beacons in the dark. There is a deep, historical comfort here, a feeling that you are part of a long, unbroken narrative. The land is protecting its secrets, and in doing so, it is protecting you. The battlefields are quiet now, their grass long and green. The secrets of the Knights of the Golden Circle are tucked away in the forgotten ledgers and the carved stones of the backcountry. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the golden coin be your guide, not as a symbol of greed, but as a light in the darkness of the past. The soldiers have gone home, the sentinels are at rest, and the heartland is silent. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the continent is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of history. The story of the caches of the Golden Circle is a reminder that the most valuable things are often the ones we cannot see. The earth has swallowed the gold, the silver, and the pain of the war, leaving behind only the peace of the night. You are safe in the shadow of the oaks, a quiet soul in a land of hidden stories. The light in the cabin has gone out, and the moon is reflecting on the still, dark waters of the creek. Sleep now. The woods are deep and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the hollows and the wisdom of the earth. The sentinel is sleeping, the gold is settled, and the heartland is at peace. The stars are watching over the hills, the wind is whispering through the leaves, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The ghosts of the Cascadia. As the hidden gold of the heartland remains buried beneath the soil, we travel far to the northwest, across the towering Cascades and into the emerald, rain-soaked wilderness of the Pacific coast. This is a land of giants, of massive Douglas firs, rugged cliffs, and a coastline that disappears into a perpetual gray mist. The air here is heavy, smelling of cedar, salt air, and the deep, rich scent of damp earth. This is the story of the ghosts of the Cascadia, where the legends of the seafaring tribes and the strange, ancient stone structures found hidden in the rainforest suggest a history that predates the arrival of any known explorer. Imagine standing on a rocky beach at twilight. The Pacific Ocean is a restless, churning beast, its waves crashing against the jagged sea stacks with a rhythmic, thunderous roar. As you settle into the quiet of your room, feel the immense power of this landscape, a place where the forest meets the sea in a primal embrace. To the Haida and the Salish, the coast was not just home, it was a living spirit. They spoke of the thunderbird, whose wings caused the storms, and the wild man of the woods, a guardian of the deep forest. These weren't just myths, they were the oral history of a people who witnessed the shifting of the earth and the rising of the tides. The silence of the temperate rainforest is a dense, muffled silence. In your mind, listen to the slow, rhythmic drip of rain falling from the canopy onto a bed of soft ferns. Deep within the Olympic Peninsula and the forests of British Columbia, hikers have stumbled upon stone walls and foundations that defy the known history of the region. They are massive, dry-stacked stone structures, overgrown with moss that is centuries old. They don't match the wood-based architecture of the local tribes. Who built these silent monuments? As your breath slows, think of the Oregon Stone, a massive boulder found in the 19th century covered in ancient, runic-like inscriptions that were weathered by 1,000 years of rain. Why does this coast feel so haunted? It is the land of the Great Quake. Around the year 1700, a massive tsunami wiped out entire villages, leaving behind ghost forests, stands of cedar and spruce that died in the saltwater but remained standing, bleached white like skeletal fingers pointing to the sky. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking through one of these ghost forests in the moonlight. The trees are silent witnesses to a catastrophe that was recorded in the stories of the tribes but forgotten by the rest of the world for centuries. It is a reminder that the land has a memory far longer than our own. Feel the cool, damp energy of the forest floor. The ground is a thick carpet of pine needles and moss, absorbing the sound of your footsteps. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the crashing waves and the shifting plates of the earth. The rainforest is a living archive, where time moves slowly, where a single tree can live for 2,000 years. You are sinking into that same biological peace, where the centuries are just rings in a tree, and the history is a soft, green pulse beneath the bark. Consider the forbidden plateaus and the hidden valleys of the north. Legend says that there are tribes who retreated into the deep interior during the Great Quake and never returned to the coast. They became the hidden people, living in the high, mist-covered ridges where the clouds never lift. The mystery is a warm, gray fog, wrapping you in a sense of safety. We don't need to see the ruins to feel the weight of the past, the belief that even in the most rugged terrain, humanity has always found a way to build, to dream, and to survive. The spirit of the Cascadia is a spirit of resilience. The wind through the Sitka spruce is like a low, haunting whistle. It carries the songs of the ancestors who navigated these waters in massive cedar canoes, guided by the stars and the currents. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the fjords and into the deep, quiet coves where the orcas glide like shadows beneath the surface. There is a deep, primeval comfort here, a feeling that you are part of an ancient, oceanic rhythm. The forest is protecting you, shielding you from the noise of the modern world with its curtain of mist and shadow. The coast is quiet now, the tide is pulling out. The secrets of the Cascadia are tucked away in the deep ravines and the underwater caves of the rocky shoreline. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the gray mist be your guide. It is a blanket of peace, a curtain that closes out the worries of the day. The thunderbird has folded its wings, the wild man is at rest, and the ocean is calm. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the Pacific Northwest is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the moss-covered pillow of the night. The story of the ghosts of the Cascadia is a reminder that the world is much older and more mysterious than we can imagine. The forest has seen the rise of mountains and the passing of the great waters, and it remains. You are safe in its shadow, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the horizon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the wet, dark sand. Sleep now. The mist is thick and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the woods and the wisdom of the water. The forest is sleeping, the mist is settled, and the Cascadia is at peace. The stars are watching over the peaks, the wind is whispering through the cedars, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American wilderness. The silent cities of the cliffs. As the misty shores of the Cascadia drift away into the fog of memory, we travel south, back to the high, arid plateaus of the Four Corners, where Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona meet in a landscape of red rock and sapphire sky. We are standing at the base of Mesa Verde, looking up at the magnificent stone cities carved directly into the heart of the cliffs. These were the homes of the ancestral Puebloans, a sophisticated society of astronomers, architects, and farmers. But in the late 13th century, they did something that history cannot fully explain. They walked away. This is the story of the silent cities of the cliffs, the mystery of a civilization that vanished into the desert, leaving behind their sandals, their grain, and their secrets. Imagine the sound of the dry desert wind whistling through a hollowed-out kiva, the subterranean ceremonial chambers that served as the spiritual center of their world. As you settle into the stillness of your room, feel the warmth of the sun-baked sandstone radiating from the walls. In these cliff dwellings, like Cliff Palace and Spruce Tree House, the masonry is so precise it rivals the work of the Old World. They built towers that aligned with the winter solstice and balconies that caught the first light of the morning sun. Yet, at the height of their architectural glory, they abandoned it all. They didn't just leave, they sealed the doors, as if they intended to return, but never did. The silence of the high plateau is a heavy, ancient silence. In your mind, listen to the rhythmic grinding of a stone mano against a metate, the sound of corn being turned into flour. For centuries, these people thrived in a harsh environment, building a complex network of roads and trade that stretched to the heart of Mexico. But the late 1200s brought the Great Drought, 24 years of failed rains. As your breath slows, think of the desperation that must have set in. But was it just the drought? Some believe it was a spiritual migration, a call from the earth itself to move toward the south, toward the Rio Grande and the Hopi Mesas. They left behind their pottery, their tools, and even their hearth fires, as if they had simply stepped out for a moment and been swallowed by the light. Why did they choose the cliffs? Many believe it was for protection, but from whom? There are no signs of massive warfare, only the quiet evidence of a departure. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking through a deserted stone room at twilight. The walls are smooth, cool to the touch, and still carry the faint scent of juniper smoke from 700 years ago. There is a sense of presence here, a feeling that the ancestral Puebloans didn't truly leave, but merely shifted their frequency, becoming the ancient ones who watch over the desert from the shadows of the canyons. It is a history of transition, not of ending. Feel the grounding energy of the red earth beneath you. The desert is a place of preservation, where a single discarded basket can survive for a millennium. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the parched fields and the empty towers. The plateau is a living archive, where the dryness of the air holds time in a state of suspended animation. You are sinking into that same eternal peace, where the centuries are just layers of dust, and the history is a soft, rhythmic hum in the cooling rock. Consider the Chaco Meridian, a theory that the ancestral Puebloans built their major centers along a perfectly straight north-south line, hundreds of miles long. They were obsessed with the movement of the stars and the cycles of the moon. Perhaps their departure was a celestial appointment, a realization that their time in the cliffs had reached its cosmic conclusion. The mystery is a warm, dry breeze, wrapping you in a sense of awe. We don't need to know where they went to feel the beauty of what they left behind, the belief that a civilization is not defined by its buildings, but by its journey. The wind through the pinyon pines is like a low, haunting flute. It carries the stories of the Hopi and the Zuni, who claim the cliff dwellers as their direct ancestors. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the mesas and into the deep, quiet canyons where the petroglyphs of flute players and sun circles are etched into the rock. There is a deep, spiritual comfort here, a feeling that you are walking a path that has been traveled by thousands of souls before you. The desert is protecting you, shielding you from the noise of the modern world with its vastness and its unyielding memory. The cities are quiet now, the ladders have long since rotted away, and the kivas are filled with the dust of centuries. The secrets of the ancestral Puebloans are tucked away in the inaccessible ledges and the hidden granaries of the sandstone walls. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the desert sun be your guide. It is a golden orb that has watched over the rise and fall of countless worlds. The dwellers have moved on, the fires have gone out, and the plateau is silent. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the Southwest is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the cool, dry pillow of the night. The story of the silent cities of the cliffs is a reminder that even the greatest works of man are temporary, but the spirit of the journey is eternal. The desert has swallowed the voices and the footsteps, leaving behind only the peace of the night. You are safe in the shadow of the mesa, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light in the canyon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the still, red rock. Sleep now. The desert is vast and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the cliffs and the wisdom of the ancestors. The city is sleeping, the dwellers are gone, and the plateau is at peace. The stars are watching over the towers, the wind is whispering through the sage, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The star maps of the plains. As the silent cliff dwellings of the Southwest fade into the red dust of the desert, we travel north, out of the canyons and onto the vast, rolling ocean of the Great Plains. Here, the horizon is a perfect circle, and the sky feels twice as large as it does anywhere else on Earth. The air is fresh, carrying the scent of dry buffalo grass, wild sage, and the electricity of a distant summer storm. This is the story of the medicine wheels, massive, ancient stone circles laid out upon the highest ridges, serving as the astronomical and spiritual centers for the nomadic tribes of the plains. Imagine standing on the summit of Medicine Mountain in Wyoming as the sun begins to set. The wind here is constant, a rhythmic rushing sound that feels like the breath of the world. As you settle into your blankets, feel the immense openness of this landscape. Beneath your feet is a wheel of white limestone, 80 feet in diameter, with 28 spokes radiating from a central hub. This isn't just a collection of rocks, it is a celestial computer, a star map etched into the earth. For centuries, the ancestors of the Crow and the Cheyenne climbed these peaks to align their spirits with the cycles of the heavens. The silence of the high plains is a vast, ringing silence. In your mind, listen to the low, steady thrum of the wind against the rocks. The 28 spokes of the wheel match the days of a lunar month, but the alignment goes deeper. The outer cairns, the stone piles at the edges of the wheel, point with uncanny precision to the rising points of the summer solstice sun and the stars Sirius, Aldebaran, and Rigel. As your breath slows, think of the people who built this, moving these heavy stones by hand, not for shelter or for war, but to keep time with the universe. They were the keepers of the morning star, people who understood that to live correctly on the earth, one must first understand the sky. Why are these wills always on the highest points? To be closer to the Wakan Tonka, the great mystery. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine sitting in the center of the wheel at midnight. The stars above are so thick and bright they look like a blanket of diamonds. There is no light pollution here, no noise, no distraction. The Milky Way is a luminous river, the path of souls, stretching from horizon to horizon. To the plains tribes, the sky was the original map, and the stone wheels were the anchors that held the earth in place. It is a history of connection, a belief that we are not separate from the stars, but made of the same light. Feel the grounding energy of the mountain granite. The stones are cold now, having lost the heat of the day, but they hold a different kind of warmth, the warmth of 1,000 years of prayers and ceremonies. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the modern world, resting on the backbone of the continent. The plains are a living archive, where the grass remembers the buffalo and the stones remember the stars. You are sinking into that same cosmic peace, where the minutes are just spokes on a wheel, and the history is a soft, rhythmic rotation of the earth. Consider the vision quests that took place within these circles. A young seeker would sit alone for days, without food or water, waiting for a sign from the spirit world. The mystery is a warm, sweeping wind, wrapping you in a sense of purpose. We don't need to see a vision to feel the power of the sight, the realization that humans have always sought a higher perspective, a way to see beyond the immediate and into the eternal. The spirit of the Great Plains is a spirit of clarity, a wide-angle lens on the soul. The wind through the shortgrass prairie is like a low, soothing hum. It carries the stories of the horse nations who followed the seasons across this endless sea of green and gold. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the black hills and into the deep, quiet valleys where the echoes of the drum still linger in the air. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are held by a land that has no beginning and no end. The plains are protecting you, shielding you from the noise of the modern world with their sheer, magnificent emptiness. The wheel is quiet now, the eagle feathers have long since blown away, and the stones are settled into the mountain soil. The secrets of the medicine wheels are tucked away in the alignments of the stars and the oral traditions of the elders. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the morning star be your guide. It is a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the deepest night, the light is returning. The seekers have gone down the mountain, the fires have been extinguished, and the plains are silent. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the American West is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the star maps of the plains is a reminder that we are all travelers on a spinning wheel, moving through a universe of wonder. The earth has held these stones for centuries, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are part of the circle now, a quiet soul in a land of infinite horizons. The light on the ridge has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver grass. Sleep now. The sky is vast and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the peaks and the wisdom of the stars. The wheel is turning, the stars are steady, and the plains are at peace. The constellations are watching over the hub, the wind is whispering through the spokes, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. Sleep. Sleep. The bending of the world. As the stone circles of the high plains remain fixed under the steady light of the stars, we travel west, across the jagged spine of the Rockies and into the dense, shadowed forests of the Pacific slope. We are entering the realm of the vortexes. These are the places where the Earth's internal rhythm seems to skip a beat, where gravity behaves like a stranger, and the very air feels heavy with a strange, magnetic tension. This is the story of the Oregon vortex and the gravity hills, the mysterious points of no return, where the laws of physics seem to bend, and the world we know begins to twist. Imagine standing in a small, slanted wooden shack deep in the woods of Gold Hill, Oregon. As you settle into the stillness of your room, feel the peculiar sensation of a world slightly out of alignment. Inside this house of mystery, people seem to change height as they walk from one side of the room to the other, balls roll uphill, and your own body feels a constant, invisible pull toward a center that isn't there. This isn't just an optical illusion, it is a pocket of the earth where the magnetic and gravitational fields are in a state of chaotic dance. The indigenous tribes called this forbidden ground, a place where even the animals refuse to tread. The silence of a vortex is a humming silence. In your mind, listen to the low-frequency vibration that seems to emanate from the very soil beneath your feet. Since the early 1930s, explorers and scientists have brought levels, magnets, and cameras to these sites, only to find their equipment failing or their measurements making no sense. As your breath slows, think of the gravity hills scattered across Pennsylvania, California, and South Dakota, where you can put your car in neutral at the bottom of a slope and feel it being pulled upward toward the summit by an unseen hand. It is as if the earth has a secret current, a hidden plumbing of energy that occasionally leaks to the surface. Why do these places exist? Some say they are natural, ley-line intersections, the meeting points of the Earth's nervous system. Others whisper of ancient, buried technology or meteorites of unknown composition hidden deep within the bedrock. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking along a path where the trees themselves are twisted into spiraling shapes, as if they were trying to follow a vortex that only they can see. There is a sense of wonder here, a realization that for all our maps and equations, there are still pockets of the map that remain uncharted by logic. It is a history of the unexplained, a reminder that the world is more flexible than we imagine. Feel the light, buzzing energy of the atmosphere. The air in a vortex feels charged, like the moments before a thunderstorm. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the twisting hills and the leaning houses. The earth is a living, breathing entity, and like any living thing, it has its strange quirks and hidden scars. You are sinking into that same mysterious peace, where the impossible is just another part of the landscape, and the history is a soft, rhythmic bending of reality. Consider the height shift phenomena. Two people stand on a level platform, and as they switch places, one becomes visibly taller while the other shrinks. It is a glitch in the visual fabric of our world. The mystery is a warm, swirling wind, wrapping you in a sense of curiosity. We don't need a scientific explanation to feel the magic of the glitch, the belief that space and time are not rigid structures, but a fabric that can be folded, tucked, and stretched. The spirit of the vortex is a spirit of playfulness, a nudge from the earth to remind us that we don't know it all. The wind through the spiraled fir trees is like a low, haunting hum. It carries the echoes of the miners and the travelers who first stumbled into these zones of confusion and walked away questioning their own senses. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the hills where the water flows backward and into the deep, quiet valleys where the magnets don't work. There is a deep, surreal comfort here, a feeling that you are part of a world that still has secrets to keep. The earth is protecting its anomalies, and in doing so, it is protecting your sense of wonder. The house is quiet now, the tourists have gone home, and the levels are back in their cases. The secrets of the Oregon vortex are tucked away in the magnetic anomalies and the unmapped currents of the hills. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the spiraling tree be your guide. It is a symbol of growth that follows its own rules, a reminder that you too can find your own path, even if it goes against the grain. The sun has set, the gravity is steady in your room, and the world is at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the bending of the world is a reminder that there is a place for the strange and the beautiful in the heart of the familiar. The earth has held these vortexes for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the forbidden ground, a quiet soul in a land of shifting shadows. The light in the forest has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the twisted bark. Sleep now. The world is soft and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the woods and the wisdom of the unknown. The vortex is spinning, the gravity is gentle, and the world is at peace. The stars are watching over the clearing, the wind is whispering through the slanted rooms, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The megaliths of the North. As the swirling energies of the Oregon vortex settle into a quiet hum, we travel back across the continent, to the rocky, frost-bitten hills of New Hampshire. Here, tucked away under a canopy of ancient oaks and maples, lies a place known as America's Stonehenge. It is a sprawling complex of massive stone slabs, mysterious chambers, and sacrificial altars that seem to belong to a time and a people that the history books have entirely forgotten. This is the story of the megaliths of the North, the silent stone sentinels that suggest the ancient Celts or Phoenicians were mapping the stars of the New World thousands of years before the first European sails were ever recorded. Imagine standing on a cold, granite ridge as the first light of winter dawn begins to break. The air is crisp and sharp, smelling of wet stone and decaying leaves. As you settle deeper into your blankets, feel the ancient, heavy presence of these megaliths. Spread across 30 acres, the site is a labyrinth of dry stacked stone walls and underground beehive chambers. These aren't the simple foundations of colonial farmers, these are structures built with astronomical precision. One massive slab, weighing over 4 tons, sits balanced as a sacrificial table, complete with a carved groove designed to channel liquids, a haunting remnant of rituals practiced in the deep silence of the prehistoric woods. The silence of Mystery Hill is a dense, stony silence. In your mind, listen to the low moan of the wind as it passes through the narrow stone vents of the chambers. These structures align perfectly with the summer and winter solstices, as well as the cross-quarter days of the ancient Celtic calendar, Imbolc, Beltane, and Samhain. As your breath slows, think of the Ogham inscriptions found on some of the stones, a primitive form of writing used by the ancient Irish. How did a language from the distant shores of the British Isles find its way into the rugged interior of New England? It is a history written in granite, a testament to a global connection that flourished while the rest of the world was still in the Bronze Age. Why build here? To the ancient navigators, this hill was a terrestrial mirror of the heavens. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine sitting inside one of the low stone chambers during a thunderstorm. The walls are thick, cold, and incredibly protective. You are safe in this womb of stone, listening to the rain hammer against the earth above you. These chambers were built to last forever, outliving the names of their creators and the languages they spoke. They were the temples of the moon, places where the sky and the earth were brought into perfect, rhythmic alignment. It is a reminder that the New World was never truly new, it was just waiting to be remembered. Feel the grounding energy of the New Hampshire granite. The stone is old, hard, and unyielding, holding the memory of 1,000 winters. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the whispers of the altars and the shadows of the chambers. The earth is a vast, stone library, and places like Mystery Hill are the chapters we are only just beginning to read. You are sinking into that same geological peace, where 1,000 years is just a layer of lichen on a rock, and the history is a soft, rhythmic pulse deep within the mountain. Consider the speaking tube, a secret stone channel that allowed a priest or oracle hidden in a chamber below to speak to the people gathered at the sacrificial table above. It was a place of high drama and sacred mystery. The mystery is a cool, damp wind, wrapping you in a sense of awe. We don't need to know the names of the gods they worship to feel the power of their devotion, the belief that the stars were the eyes of the divine, and that the earth was a sacred altar. The spirit of the megaliths is a spirit of endurance, a voice from the past that refuses to be silenced. The wind through the bare branches of the oaks is like a low, haunting flute. It carries the stories of the Bronze Age voyagers we spoke of before, who traded copper and knowledge across the Great Atlantic Bridge. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the stone walls and into the deep, quiet valleys where the echoes of ancient chants still linger in the air. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are standing on the shoulders of giants. The hill is protecting its secrets, and in doing so, it is protecting your sense of connection to the long line of human history. The site is quiet now, the tourists have left, and the snow is beginning to fall softly on the sacrificial table. The secrets of America's Stonehenge are tucked away in the alignments of the stones and the weathered grooves of the granite. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the standing stone be your guide. It is a symbol of strength and stability, a reminder that you too are grounded and secure. The sun has set, the stones are cold, and the hill is at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the megaliths of the north is a reminder that there are roots beneath our feet that go deeper than we ever imagined. The earth has held these stones for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the Temple of the Moon, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the ridge has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver granite. Sleep now. The world is stone and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the chambers and the wisdom of the ancients. The stones are steady, the stars are watching, and the hill is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the altar, the wind is whispering through the vents, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. Sleep. Sleep. The Valley of the Watchers. As the ancient granite megaliths of New England remain silent in their snowy beds, we travel west, past the Great Plains and into the high, thin air of southern Colorado. We are entering the San Luis Valley, a massive, high-altitude basin flanked by the Sangre de Cristo Mountains on one side and the San Juan Mountains on the other. This is a place of stark, haunting beauty, a landscape of dunes, jagged peaks, and an endless sky. But this valley is famous for something more than its scenery. It is known as UFO Alley, a geographical hotspot where the laws of the sky seem to follow a different set of rules. This is the story of the Valley of the Watchers, where for decades, the residents have lived under a sky that refuses to stay quiet. Imagine standing in the center of the valley at midnight. The air is cold and incredibly dry, smelling of sage and wood smoke. Because of the altitude, the stars don't just twinkle, they burn with a fierce, steady light. As you settle into your blankets, feel the vast, electric stillness of the basin. Since the 1960s, this valley has reported more unexplained aerial phenomena per capita than almost anywhere else on Earth. It isn't just about lights in the sky, it's about craft that move with impossible physics, hovering over the dunes before vanishing into the mountain peaks at speeds that defy human technology. To the local tribes, this was always a sacred window, a place where the barrier between our world and the others is as thin as the mountain air. The silence of the San Luis Valley is a ringing, expectant silence. In your mind, listen to the low, steady hum of the wind as it rolls off the great sand dunes. In 1967, the valley made national headlines with the Snippy the Horse case, the first widely documented instance of strange, bloodless animal anomalies that left no tracks and no struggle. As your breath slows, think of the Watchtower, a dedicated observation deck where people gather to scan the horizon. They see silent triangles, glowing orbs that dance in pairs, and craft that seem to enter the solid rock of the mountains themselves. It is a history written in the clouds, a testament to a presence that has been watching the valley since long before the first settlers arrived. Why this valley? Geologists point to the massive underground aquifers and the unique magnetic properties of the mountain ranges. To the Watchers, the valley is a natural laboratory, a place where the Earth's energy is so concentrated that it creates a beacon for those from elsewhere. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine sitting by a campfire on the edge of the dunes. You are safe in the glow of the embers, looking up at a sky that feels like a vast, interactive map. You aren't afraid of the unknown, you are curious about it. The lights are not a threat, they are a reminder that the universe is far more crowded and mysterious than our textbooks suggest. It is a reminder that we are just one small part of a much larger, celestial neighborhood. Feel the grounding energy of the valley floor. The ground is a mixture of sand and volcanic soil, holding the memory of ancient eruptions. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the high-altitude winds and the silent craft. The valley is a vast, open-air archive, where every flash of light is a question mark in the darkness. You are sinking into that same cosmic peace, where the distances between the stars are just paths for the mind to wander, and the history is a soft, rhythmic blinking of the lights on the horizon. Consider the underground bases, legends. Local lore is filled with stories of secret military installations hidden deep beneath the mountains, or even non-human cities nestled within the limestone caverns. The mystery is a cool, thin wind, wrapping you in a sense of awe. We don't need to see the blueprints to feel the power of the myth, the belief that the earth has many layers, and that what we see on the surface is just the beginning. The spirit of the San Luis Valley is a spirit of vigilance, a way of living with our eyes turned toward the infinite. The wind through the pinyon pines is like a low, haunting whistle. It carries the stories of the ranchers and the farmers who have seen things they can't explain, but have learned to live with the mystery as a neighbor. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the sand dunes that look like waves of frozen gold in the moonlight. There is a deep, existential comfort here, a feeling that you are part of a world that is still being explored. The valley is protecting its secrets, and in doing so, it is protecting your sense of wonder about the great what if. The basin is quiet now, the watchtowers are empty, and the cattle are at rest. The secrets of UFO Alley are tucked away in the magnetic anomalies and the unmapped depths of the Sangre de Cristos. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the steady, unmoving star be your guide. It is a symbol of truth and permanence, a reminder that you too are part of the eternal light. The sun has set, the valley is cold, and the watchers are at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the Valley of the Watchers is a reminder that there is a place for the unexplained in the heart of the familiar. The earth has held this valley for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the sacred window, a quiet soul in a land of shifting lights. The light on the dunes has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver peaks. Sleep now. The world is vast and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the basin and the wisdom of the stars. The sky is steady, the watchers are sleeping, and the valley is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the dunes, the wind is whispering through the sage, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The White Temple of the West. As the silent watchers of the San Luis Valley fade into the starlight, we travel west, across the Sierra Nevada and into the rugged, majestic landscape of Northern California. Before us rises Mount Shasta, a solitary, snow-capped volcano that dominates the horizon like a colossal white throne. This is not just a mountain, it is a legendary pillar of the earth, a place where geography and myth are so deeply intertwined that it is impossible to separate them. This is the story of the mystery of Mount Shasta, where for over a century, travelers have reported encounters with the survivors of a lost continent, hidden cities within the rock, and an energy so powerful it can alter the very fabric of the mind. Imagine standing at the base of the mountain at dawn. The air is ice-cold and smells of fresh pine resin and melting snow. The silence here is not empty, it is a vibrating, resonant silence, a low-frequency hum that seems to come from deep within the mountain's roots. Since the late 1800s, legends have whispered of Lemuria, a lost continent that sank beneath the Pacific, whose inhabitants allegedly found refuge within the vast, hollowed-out lava tubes of Mount Shasta. They speak of Telos, a subterranean city of crystal and light, where an advanced civilization lives in perfect harmony with the earth. As you settle into your blankets, feel the immense, grounding presence of the peak, a giant made of stone and ice, watching over the edge of the world. The silence of the high slopes is a profound, meditative silence. In your mind, listen to the rhythmic crunch of snow beneath your boots as you climb. Throughout the decades, hikers have reported strange, tall figures dressed in white robes appearing out of the mist, only to vanish into solid rock. Others have seen lenticular clouds, perfectly circular, saucer-shaped clouds that hover over the summit, believing them to be cloaking devices for craft entering the mountain. As your breath slows, think of the strange fogs that appear out of nowhere, carrying the scent of flowers that don't grow in the alpine cold. It is a history of the unseen, a testament to a world that exists just behind the curtain of our physical senses. Why Shasta? To the spiritual seekers who flock here, the mountain is the root chakra of the planet, a gateway for cosmic energy to flow into the earth. To the native Wintu and Modoc tribes, it was the home of the Great Spirit, a place too sacred to be climbed by ordinary men. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine sitting by a crystal-clear mountain spring. You are safe in the shadow of the summit, drinking water that has been filtered through 1,000 feet of volcanic rock. The water is alive, it carries the vibration of the mountain's heart. You aren't just observing the mountain, you are becoming part of its quiet, eternal rhythm. It is a reminder that we are not just physical beings, but echoes of a much older, deeper story. Feel the cool, crystalline energy of the air. At 14,000 feet, the atmosphere is thin and pure, stripping away the clutter of the valley below. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the steep precipices and the shifting glaciers. The mountain is a vast, stone library of the spirit, where every cave and every ridge holds a fragment of a forgotten wisdom. You are sinking into that same spiritual peace, where the passage of time is measured in centuries of snowfall, and the history is a soft, rhythmic pulse deep within the magma. Consider the I Am movement and the countless groups that have gathered on these slopes to commune with the ascended masters. The mystery is a warm, golden light, wrapping you in a sense of profound belonging. We don't need to see the gates of Telos to feel the power of the peak, the belief that there are places on earth where the divine and the human can meet and speak in whispers. The spirit of Mount Shasta is a spirit of transcendence, a way of looking up and seeing the infinite possibility of the soul. The wind through the ancient bristlecone pines is like a low, haunting chant. It carries the stories of the explorers and the hermits who have called this mountain home, finding in its isolation a path to their own inner truth. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the glaciers and into the deep, quiet canyons where the waterfalls sing to the rocks. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are held by a mountain that has no master. The peak is protecting you, shielding you from the noise of the modern world with its mantle of white and its heart of fire. The summit is quiet now, the lenticular clouds have drifted away, and the stars are reflecting on the ice. The secrets of Mount Shasta are tucked away in the lava tubes and the hidden chambers of the volcanic rock. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the white peak be your guide. It is a symbol of purity and strength, a reminder that you too can stand tall against the storms of life. The sun has set, the mountain is cold, and the giants are at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the White Temple of the West is a reminder that there are heights we have yet to reach and depths we have yet to explore. The earth has held this mountain for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the throne of the gods, a quiet soul in a land of ancient light. The light on the glacier has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver snow. Sleep now. The world is vast and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the peaks and the wisdom of the masters. The mountain is steady, the master is sleeping, and Shasta is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the crater, the wind is whispering through the pines, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The inland sea of shadows. As the white peak of Mount Shasta fades into the high-altitude stars, we travel back toward the center of the continent, to the cold, restless expanse of the Great Lakes. We are standing on the shores of Lake Michigan, a body of water so vast it creates its own weather, its own tides, and its own mysteries. But within these waters lies a stretch of territory known as the Lake Michigan Triangle, a sister to the Bermuda Triangle, where for over a century, ships, planes, and people have vanished into the gray depths without a trace. This is the story of the inland sea of shadows, where the water holds the echoes of ghost ships and the skies are filled with strange, silent lights. Imagine standing on a pier in Ludington, Michigan, as a thick, heavy fog rolls in from the horizon. The air is cold and damp, smelling of fresh water and old iron. As you settle into your blankets, feel the immense, heavy power of the lake, a vast, inland ocean that hides a graveyard of over 6,000 shipwrecks. The triangle stretches from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, to Ludington, and down to Benton Harbor. Within these imaginary lines, compasses spin wildly, and time itself seems to stutter. In 1891, the schooner Thomas Hume vanished here in a light breeze. In 1937, Captain George Donner disappeared from his locked cabin on a moving freighter, leaving only a closed door and an empty room. It is a history written in the waves, a testament to a force that defies the logic of the shore. The silence of the Lake Michigan Triangle is a hollow, metallic silence. In your mind, listen to the rhythmic slap of the water against the hull of a ship and the low, mournful groan of a distant foghorn. In 1950, Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 2501 vanished over these waters with 58 souls on board. Despite weeks of searching, not a single piece of the fuselage was ever found. It was as if the lake had simply opened up and swallowed the aircraft whole. As your breath slows, think of the Stonehenge of Lake Michigan, a series of stones arranged in a circle deep on the lake floor, one of which bears a carving of a mastodon. This ancient site, thousands of years old, sits at the heart of the triangle, suggesting that the mystery of this water is far older than the ships that sail upon it. Why this stretch of water? Divers and pilots speak of walls of fog that appear instantly, cutting off all communication and sight. Others have reported strange, glowing orbs rising from the depths and shooting into the sky. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine being on a calm, moonlit deck in the middle of the lake. You are safe in the stillness, watching the stars reflect on the water's surface like a million tiny lanterns. But beneath you, there is a world of shipwrecks and ancient stones, a world that doesn't follow the rules of the land. You aren't afraid of the deep, you are part of its slow, rhythmic pulse. It is a reminder that the earth has many layers of history, some of which are buried under a mile of cold, blue water. Feel the grounding energy of the sandy shore. The dunes are cool now, holding the moisture of the night air. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the unpredictable currents and the disappearing cabins. The lake is a vast, aquatic archive, where every wave is a page turned in a forgotten book. You are sinking into that same oceanic peace, where the passage of time is measured in the erosion of stones, and the history is a soft, rhythmic surging of the tide. Consider the ghost ship sightings. Residents of the coastal towns often report seeing three-masted schooners sailing through the fog, identical to ships that sank 100 years ago. They appear for a moment, silent and glowing, before fading back into the mist. The mystery is a cool, damp breeze, wrapping you in a sense of wonder. We don't need to find the wreckage of Flight 2501 to feel the power of the lake, the belief that some places on Earth are gateways, where the past and the present can momentarily collide. The spirit of the Lake Michigan Triangle is a spirit of the unknown, a way of acknowledging that even in the heart of the country, there are frontiers we cannot conquer. The wind through the beach grass is like a low, haunting whistle. It carries the stories of the lighthouse keepers who watched the horizon for ships that never came home, finding in the light a way to guide the living and honor the lost. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the whitecaps and into the deep, quiet basins where the ancient stones sit in perpetual darkness. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are held by a land that is mostly water. The lake is protecting its secrets, and in doing so, it is protecting your sense of the vastness of the world. The water is quiet now, the fog has settled over the pier, and the stars are reflecting on the glass-like surface. The secrets of the Lake Michigan Triangle are tucked away in the deep trenches and the unmapped caverns of the lake floor. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the lighthouse beam be your guide. It is a symbol of guidance and safety, a reminder that you too are being watched over in the dark. The sun has set, the lake is cold, and the ghosts are at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the inland sea of shadows is a reminder that there are depths we have yet to explore and mysteries that remain beneath the surface. The earth has held these waters for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe on the shore of the infinite, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the horizon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver waves. Sleep now. The world is water and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the depths and the wisdom of the waves. The lake is steady, the captain is sleeping, and Michigan is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the water, the wind is whispering through the dunes, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The subterranean pulse of the Ozarks. As the cold, mist-heavy waters of Lake Michigan settle into a glassy calm, we travel south, deep into the rugged, ancient heart of the Ozark Mountains. These are not the jagged peaks of the West, but a vast, elevated plateau of deep hollows, limestone bluffs, and thousands of hidden caverns. The air here is thick with the scent of damp oak leaves, wild cedar, and the metallic tang of spring water rising from the limestone. This is the story of the spook light and the hollow earth, where the oldest mountains in mid-America guard secrets of strange atmospheric lights and legends of an advanced civilization living beneath the very ground you walk upon. Imagine standing on a lonely gravel road near the border of Missouri and Oklahoma as the moon rises. As you settle into the comfort of your bed, feel the ancient, weathered presence of these hills. For over a century, a mysterious orb known as the Hornet Spook Light has appeared here, dancing through the trees, a silent, glowing sphere that changes color from orange to blue. It is not a reflection, nor a lantern, it is a pulse of the earth itself. The Cherokee spoke of these mountains as a place of great power, where the earth's energy leaks to the surface in flashes of light. But the real mystery of the Ozarks isn't just in the sky, it is beneath the soil. The silence of an Ozark hollow is a deep, muffled silence. In your mind, listen to the rhythmic drip of water inside a limestone cave, a sound that has continued unchanged for 10,000 years. The Ozarks are honeycombed with the most extensive cave systems in the world. In the late 19th century, a strange book titled Edidorpa began to circulate, claiming that these very mountains hid an entrance to a massive, inner-world civilization. While many dismissed it as fiction, local legends persist of moon-eyed people and strange, tall beings seen near cave entrances who disappear into the dark at incredible speeds. As your breath slows, think of the Spanish treasure caves and the lost silver mine of the Ozarks, vaults that are said to be guarded not by traps, but by the mountain's own shifting geography. Why this region? Geologists speak of the Ozarks as an uplift, a piece of the Earth's crust that refused to sink. To the hollow earth theorists, the Ozarks are the lungs of the continent, a place where the inner and outer worlds breathe together. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine being inside a vast, crystalline cathedral deep beneath the Missouri hills. The air is perfectly still, and the walls glow with a soft, bioluminescent light. You are safe in this hidden sanctuary, far from the noise and chaos of the surface. You aren't a trespasser, you are a guest of the mountain. It is a reminder that the world we see is only a thin crust, a shell protecting a core of infinite mystery. Feel the grounding energy of the limestone. The rock is cool and porous, filtered by a million years of rain. You are safe in your own sanctuary, resting on a foundation that goes deeper than any skyscraper. The Ozarks are a vast, geological archive, where every sinkhole is a doorway and every spring is a messenger from the deep. You are sinking into that same subterranean peace, where the passage of time is measured by the growth of a stalactite, and the history is a soft, rhythmic heartbeat echoing through the stone. Consider the Joplin spook light sightings. Scientists have tried to explain it as tectonic strain or piezoelectric energy, yet it continues to defy capture. The mystery is a warm, glowing light, wrapping you in a sense of quiet fascination. We don't need to find the entrance to the inner world to feel the magic of the Ozarks, the belief that right beneath our feet, there is a kingdom of silence and light that remains untouched by time. The spirit of the Ozarks is a spirit of the deep wild, a way of knowing that the earth still has places where it can keep its own counsel. The wind through the dogwood trees is like a low, soothing hum. It carries the stories of the pioneers and the outlaws who hid in these caves, finding in the dark a protection that the sun could not provide. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the bluffs and into the deep, quiet valleys where the fireflies mimic the spook light in the tall grass. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are held by the very bones of the continent. The mountain is protecting you, shielding you from the noise of the modern world with its mantle of green and its heart of stone. The hollow is quiet now, the light has faded into the trees, and the stars are reflecting in the still pools of the springs. The secrets of the Ozarks are tucked away in the unmapped tunnels and the light-filled glades of the backcountry. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the glowing orb be your guide. It is a symbol of the spark within us all, a light that remains even in the deepest dark. The sun has set, the mountain is cool, and the moon-eyed people are at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the subterranean pulse is a reminder that there is always more to discover if we are willing to look beneath the surface. The earth has held these mountains for eons, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the cradle of the caves, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the ridge has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the limestone bluffs. Sleep now. The world is deep and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the hollows and the wisdom of the caves. The mountain is steady, the light is soft, and the Ozarks are at peace. The constellations are aligning over the bluffs, the wind is whispering through the cedars, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The resonant hum of the desert. As the deep, limestone echoes of the Ozarks fade into the silence of the earth, we travel back to the high, sun-bleached plateaus of New Mexico. We are entering the artistic and ancient town of Taos, nestled at the foot of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. The air here is thin and crisp, smelling of burning pinyon wood and dry sagebrush. But beneath the serene beauty of the desert landscape, there is a persistent, invisible mystery that has baffled scientists, government officials, and residents for over 30 years. This is the story of the Taos hum, a low-frequency vibration that sounds like a distant diesel engine idling in the night, a sound that some can hear, some can feel, but no one can find. Imagine lying in the absolute stillness of a Taos night. The adobe walls of your room are thick and cool, intended to keep out the noise of the world. But then, you feel it before you hear it, a subtle, rhythmic thrumming that seems to vibrate in your very bones. As you settle into your blankets, feel the peculiar tension of this sound. Since the early 1990s, thousands of residents have reported this hum. It isn't a sound carried through the air like a song, it is a resonance that seems to come from the ground itself. In 1993, Congress even commissioned a study involving top laboratories, but after months of testing, they found nothing. No machinery, no power lines, no industrial source. It was a sound with no origin, a ghost in the frequency. The silence of Taos is a deceptive silence. In your mind, listen to the low, steady vibration, like the purr of a massive, hidden cat beneath the desert floor. Some believe the hum is a byproduct of Project Gwen, a secret government communication system designed to survive a nuclear strike by sending waves through the Earth's crust. Others point to the Earth's resonant frequency, suggesting that Taos sits on a geological tuning fork, where the planet's natural vibration becomes audible to the human ear. As your breath slows, think of the Taos Pueblo, the 1,000-year-old multi-story adobe dwellings nearby. The elders there speak of the voice of the earth, a sound they have known long before modern technology arrived, a sound that tells them the mountain is alive and breathing. why only some people? Statistics show that only about 2% of the population can hear it. To the hearers, the hum is a constant companion, a reminder that we are surrounded by energies that our senses are only beginning to perceive. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine the desert at night as a vast, vibrating instrument. You are safe in the center of this resonance, letting the frequency wash over you like a gentle wave. You aren't fighting the sound, you are aligning with it. It is a reminder that the world is not a collection of solid objects, but a symphony of vibrations, and that peace is found in finding your own harmony within the noise. Feel the grounding energy of the high desert. The soil is a mixture of clay and volcanic ash, holding the frequency of the tectonic plates far below. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the reach of secret projects and the buzzing of the grid. The desert is a vast, acoustic archive, where the wind and the rock work together to create a unique atmospheric signature. You are sinking into that same resonant peace, where the hum becomes a lullaby, and the history is a soft, rhythmic vibration in the cooling sand. Consider the acoustic anomalies of the Southwest. From the whispering galleries of the canyons to the strange echoes of the mesa tops, this land is built for sound. The mystery is a cool, vibrating wind, wrapping you in a sense of quiet wonder. We don't need to find the source of the hum to feel the power of the vibration, the belief that we are constantly immersed in a sea of energy that connects the mountains, the sky, and the soul. The spirit of Taos is a spirit of listening, a way of paying attention to the whispers of the world that others choose to ignore. The wind through the sagebrush is like a low, haunting cello. It carries the stories of the artists and the rebels who came to Taos for the light, but stayed for the mystery. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the Rio Grande Gorge and into the deep, quiet canyons where the only sound is the heartbeat of the river. There is a deep, vibrational comfort here, a feeling that you are part of a world that is fundamentally musical. The desert is protecting its secrets, and in doing so, it is protecting your sense of the invisible connections that hold the world together. The town is quiet now, the adobe walls are resting in the moonlight, and the mountains are dark. The secrets of the Taos hum are tucked away in the seismic waves and the hidden frequencies of the Sangre de Cristos. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the tuning fork be your guide. It is a symbol of alignment and truth, a reminder that you are in sync with the rhythm of the universe. The sun has set, the desert is cold, and the hearers are at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the resonant hum is a reminder that even in the silence, there is a song being sung. The earth has held this vibration for eons, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the Valley of the Sound, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the mesa has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver sage. The magnetism of the coral castle. As the low, resonant vibration of the New Mexico desert fades into a distant memory, we travel southeast, to the humid, sun-drenched plains of Homestead, Florida. Here, tucked away amidst the palm trees and hibiscus, stands one of the most baffling architectural feats of the modern age. It is a massive fortress made entirely of oolitic limestone, weighing over 1,100 tons. But this wasn't built by a construction crew or heavy machinery. It was built by one man, Edward Leedskalnin, a 5-foot-tall, 100-pound Latvian immigrant who claimed to have rediscovered the secrets used by the ancient Egyptians to build the pyramids. This is the story of the Coral Castle, a monument to lost love, secret magnetism, and the power of a single mind to defy the laws of gravity. Imagine the humid Florida night, heavy with the scent of orange blossoms and damp earth. As you settle into the coolness of your sheets, feel the silent, massive weight of the stone blocks surrounding you. Ed worked only at night, under the light of a flickering lantern, shielding his methods from prying eyes. He moved stones weighing up to 30 tons with the ease of a child moving a toy. When asked how he did it, he simply replied, "I have discovered the secrets of the pyramids, and have found out how the Egyptians and the ancient builders in Peru and Yucatan with only primitive tools, raised and set in place blocks of stone weighing many tons. He spoke not of cranes, but of magnetism, a hidden force that could make the heavy light as air. The silence of the coral castle is a dense, magnetic silence. In your mind, listen to the soft, rhythmic clinking of a chisel and the low hum of a tripod made of telephone poles. Ed's masterpiece includes a 9-ton revolving gate so perfectly balanced that it can be opened with the touch of a single finger. There is a Polaris telescope, carved from stone, perfectly aligned with the North Star, and a sun dial that tells time to the minute. As your breath slows, think of the perpetual motion holder found in his workshop, a device of magnets and coils that suggests he wasn't just a mason, but a master of the Earth's energy. He believed that all matter was composed of individual magnets, and by reversing their polarity, the heaviest stone would float. Why did he build it? Legend says it was for his Sweet 16, the woman who left him the day before their wedding in Latvia. He spent 28 years carving a palace for a queen who never came. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine sitting in one of the stone rocking chairs he carved, chairs that weigh thousands of pounds but rock with the gentlest push. You are safe in this garden of limestone, protected by walls that are 8 feet thick. You aren't just looking at a castle, you are feeling the dedication of a soul that turned heartbreak into a mastery of the physical world. It is a reminder that the human spirit, when focused, can bend the very rules of nature. Feel the warm, tropical energy of the Florida night. The air is thick and still, wrapping around the stone pillars like a velvet cloak. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the prying eyes of the neighbors and the skepticism of the world. The Coral Castle is a living archive of a technology we have forgotten, a way of working with the earth rather than against it. You are sinking into that same magnetic peace, where weight is an illusion, and the history is a soft, rhythmic alignment of the atoms within the stone. Consider the black box that Ed reportedly kept atop his tripod. Witnesses claimed it hummed with a strange energy as the stones rose into the air. The mystery is a warm, tropical breeze, wrapping you in a sense of quiet awe. We don't need to see the levitation to feel the magic of the result, the belief that the ancient wisdom is still here, waiting to be rediscovered by those with the patience to listen. The spirit of the Coral Castle is a spirit of will, a reminder that the small can move the massive, and the heart can build a kingdom out of the dust. The wind through the palm fronds is like a low, soothing rustle. It carries the stories of the engineers who came to study the gate and walked away shaking their heads in disbelief. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the coral walls and into the deep, quiet spaces where the stars reflect in the stone birdbaths. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are held by a world that is fundamentally magnetic. Ed is gone, but his work remains, unshaken by hurricanes, unyielding to time. The castle is protecting its secrets, and in doing so, it is protecting your sense of the impossible. The garden is quiet now, the lantern has gone out, and the 9-ton gate is closed for the night. The secrets of Edward Leedskalnin are tucked away in the magnetic fields and the perfectly balanced blocks of the limestone fortress. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the Polaris telescope be your guide. It is a symbol of focus and alignment, a reminder that you are anchored to the steady light of the universe. The sun has set, the stones are warm, and the builder is at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the Coral Castle is a reminder that even the heaviest burdens can be lifted with the right knowledge and a quiet heart. The earth has held these stones for decades, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the Palace of the Sweet 16, a quiet soul in a land of ancient secrets. The light on the horizon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver coral. Sleep now. The world is balanced and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the garden and the wisdom of the magnets. The stones are steady, the builder is sleeping, and Florida is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the castle, the wind is whispering through the stone archways, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The pale walkers of the Sierra. As the magnetic stones of the coral castle settle into the warm Florida earth, we travel back across the continent, to the Central Valley of California and the dark, forested foothills of the Sierra Nevada. This is a land of massive agriculture and ancient wilderness, but in recent years, it has become the stage for one of the most bizarre and inexplicable biological mysteries of the modern age. This is the story of the Fresno nightcrawlers, strange, spindly entities that defy every known law of skeletal structure, appearing on security cameras as nothing more than a pair of long, white legs that glide through the darkness. Imagine sitting in a quiet suburban living room in Fresno. The night is still, and the only sound is the distant hum of the freeway. As you sink into the softness of your pillow, feel the peculiar, light energy of this mystery. In 2007, a homeowner checking his surveillance footage saw something that moved with an unnatural, fluid grace. It had no torso, no arms, and no face, just two long, pale limbs connected by a small, curved joint. It moved like a piece of silk caught in a gentle breeze, yet it stepped with purpose. Since then, similar sightings have emerged from Yosemite National Park, where these pale walkers have been seen moving between the giant sequoias, vanishing into the shadows as if they were made of mist. The silence of the Fresno night is a thin, expectant silence. In your mind, listen to the soft, rhythmic scuff of something walking across a manicured lawn. Skeptics have tried to debunk these videos for years, suggesting puppets or digital editing, yet every professional analysis has failed to find a trace of a hoax. The way the joints bend and the fabric like skin stretches suggests a biology that doesn't rely on a central nervous system or a heavy skeleton. As your breath slows, think of the ancient legends of the local indigenous tribes. Why are they here now? Some believe the nightcrawlers are a sign of the Earth's changing frequency, that as our world shifts, beings that were once invisible are now becoming perceivable to our cameras. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking through the moonlit woods of Yosemite. You are safe in the company of the ancient trees, feeling the presence of things that don't follow the rules of human biology. You aren't afraid, you are fascinated. The nightcrawlers are a reminder that nature still has secrets that we haven't even begun to categorize. They are the gentle anomalies, creatures that don't hunt or hide, but simply are, moving through our world like characters from a dream. Feel the cool, clean air of the California foothills. The night is vast and open, stretching from the valley floor to the high granite peaks. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the reach of logic and the constraints of the known. The Sierra Nevada is a massive, granite archive, where the stones and the spirits have lived together for millennia. You are sinking into that same ethereal peace, where the impossible is just a different kind of life, and the history is a soft, rhythmic gliding through the silver grass. Consider the Yosemite footage. Two of these entities, one larger and one smaller, were filmed walking together across a clearing. The mystery is a cool, light breeze, wrapping you in a sense of quiet wonder. We don't need to understand their anatomy to feel the magic of their existence, the belief that the world is populated by travelers we don't recognize, and that life can take forms we never dared to imagine. The spirit of the nightcrawlers is a spirit of flow, a way of moving through the world with grace, leaving no footprint and no harm. The wind through the redwood needles is like a low, soothing sigh. It carries the stories of the hikers and the rangers who have felt a presence in the dark, a feeling of being watched by something ancient and harmless. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the orchards and into the deep, quiet canyons where the fog rolls in from the Pacific. There is a deep, surreal comfort here, a feeling that you are part of a world that is still very much alive with magic. The mountains are protecting their walkers, and in doing so, they are protecting your sense of the infinite mystery of life. The valley is quiet now, the cameras are recording the stillness, and the stars are reflecting on the dew-covered grass. The secrets of the Fresno nightcrawlers are tucked away in the shadows of the sequoias and the unmapped frequencies of the forest floor. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the white, graceful stride be your guide. It is a symbol of lightness and ease, a reminder that you too can let go of the heavy burdens of the day. The sun has set, the air is cool, and the pale walkers are moving silently through the woods. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the pale walkers is a reminder that there is a place for the strange and the beautiful in the heart of the familiar. The earth has held these spirits for eons, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the Garden of the Walkers, a quiet soul in a land of ancient light. The light on the ridge has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver bark. Sleep now. The world is fluid and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the woods and the wisdom of the spirits. The mountain is steady, the walker is moving, and California is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the peaks, the wind is whispering through the pines, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The Bridgewater Vortex. As the pale, spindly walkers of the Sierra Nevada vanish into the California fog, we travel back to the cradle of the colonies, to the swampy, haunted heart of southeastern Massachusetts. We are entering the Bridgewater Triangle, a 200-square-mile patch of land where the laws of nature seem to have broken down completely. This is a window area, a place where every type of high strangeness, from UFOs and Bigfoot to phantom campfires and ancient spirits, converges in a single, dense pocket of the earth. This is the story of the Bridgewater Vortex, a land cursed by history and blessed by mystery. Imagine standing at the edge of the Hockomock Swamp at sunset. The name Hockomock is Algonquian for place where spirits dwell, and the early settlers called it the Devil's Swamp. As you settle into the warmth of your blankets, feel the thick, heavy atmosphere of this region. The air here smells of damp peat, stagnant water, and the sharp, metallic scent of ozone. Since the days of King Philip's War in the 1670s, this land has been a theater of shadows. It was here that the bloodiest conflict between colonists and indigenous tribes took place, leaving behind a psychic scar that many believe opened a portal to the unknown. The silence of the Bridgewater Triangle is a crowded, watchful silence. In your mind, listen to the low, guttural snap of a branch in the deep brush. Since the 1970s, residents have reported seeing pukwudgies, small, gray, humanoid creatures from Wampanoag folklore that lure travelers into the swamp. Others have stood on the tracks of the old railroad lines and watched massive, silent black triangles hover just above the treeline, their lights reflecting in the dark waters of the marshes. As your breath slows, think of the Thunderbird sightings over the Taunton River, giant birds with wingspans like small planes that seem to appear out of the prehistoric past. It is a history that isn't linear, it is a place where all times exist at once. Why this specific triangle? Geologists and paranormal researchers point to the high concentration of quartz and magnetic minerals in the soil, which might act as a natural battery for spiritual energy. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking past Profile Rock, a massive formation that looks like the face of a Wampanoag chief. You are safe in the company of these ancient stones, feeling the weight of the stories they've witnessed. You aren't afraid of the swamp, you are respectful of its depth. The Bridgewater Triangle is a reminder that the land holds on to its memories, and sometimes, those memories take a shape we can see. Feel the cool, damp energy of the New England night. The woods are thick with oak and maple, their roots intertwined with the bones of the past. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the glowing orbs and the phantom screams of the Freetown State Forest. The Triangle is a vast, natural archive of the unexplained, where the barrier between the physical world and the other is as thin as a layer of swamp mist. You are sinking into that same mysterious peace, where the impossible is just a neighbor you haven't met yet, and the history is a soft, rhythmic pulse in the dark earth. Consider the Anawan Rock sightings. People often report seeing phantom campfires and hearing the cries of warriors from a battle that ended 350 years ago. The mystery is a cool, damp wind, wrapping you in a sense of quiet awe. We don't need to explain the vortex to feel its power, the belief that some places on Earth are thin, allowing us to glimpse the infinite complexity of existence. The spirit of Bridgewater is a spirit of witness, a way of acknowledging that we share this land with forces we do not yet understand. The wind through the swamp reeds is like a low, haunting flute. It carries the stories of the researchers and the locals who have walked these paths and seen the sky turn colors that have no name. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the dark pools and into the deep, quiet groves where the stone markers of the ancients still stand. There is a deep, historical comfort here, a feeling that you are part of a world that refuses to be tamed. The swamp is protecting its spirits, and in doing so, it is protecting your sense of the deep magic that still exists in the world. The woods are quiet now, the lights in the sky have faded, and the pukwudgies have returned to their burrows. The secrets of the Bridgewater Triangle are tucked away in the peat bogs and the unmapped frequencies of the Freetown forest. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the ancient forest be your guide. It is a symbol of endurance and mystery, a reminder that you too have deep roots and a quiet strength. The sun has set, the air is cool, and the spirits of the place are at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the Bridgewater Vortex is a reminder that there are places where the unknown is the only truth. The earth has held these swamps for eons, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the place where spirits dwell, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the horizon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the dark, still water. Sleep now. The world is multi-layered and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the swamp and the wisdom of the ancients. The vortex is steady, the spirit is resting, and Massachusetts is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the marshes, the wind is whispering through the oaks, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The shadow of the Bell Witch. As the swirling mists of the Bridgewater Triangle fade into the ancient woods of New England, we travel south, into the rolling, fertile hills of Adams, Tennessee. We are approaching a small, dark opening in a limestone bluff overlooking the Red River. This is the Bell Witch Cave. Unlike many legends that blur with time, this is considered the most well-documented haunting in American history, a case so terrifying and undeniable that it once drew the attention of a future president, Andrew Jackson. This is the story of the Bell Witch, an invisible, intelligent entity that didn't just haunt a house, but waged a targeted psychological war against a family for years. Imagine the sound of a crackling fire in a log cabin in the early 1800s. As you settle into the safety of your bed, feel the heavy, historic stillness of the Tennessee countryside. The haunting began in 1817, when John Bell encountered a strange animal in his cornfield, a creature with the body of a dog and the head of a rabbit. Soon, the family was plagued by the sound of scratching on the exterior walls, the flapping of invisible wings against the ceiling, and the sound of voices whispering just out of reach. But this wasn't a silent ghost. The entity, which called itself Kate, began to speak clearly, displaying a vast knowledge of scripture, local gossip, and future events. The silence of the Bell Witch Cave is a sharp, cold silence. In your mind, listen to the low, rhythmic dripping of water deep within the limestone. The entity was particularly brutal toward John Bell and his daughter, Betsy. It would pull hair, slap faces, and throw objects with invisible hands. When Andrew Jackson arrived with a wagon of men to investigate, his horses stopped dead in their tracks, unable to move forward as if hitting an invisible wall. A voice from the air allegedly cried out, "All right, General, let the wagon move on." Jackson later remarked, "I would rather fight the entire British army than face the Bell Witch again." As your breath slows, think of the mystery of John Bell's death, the discovery of a strange, dark veil of liquid and the voice of the witch gloating that she had finally poisoned him. Why did this happen? Some say it was a curse from a neighbor, others believe the cave itself is a portal for an ancient, restless spirit that was disturbed by the settlers. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine walking along the banks of the Red River. You are safe in the daylight, far from the shadows of the 19th century. You aren't a target of the entity, you are a student of the story. The bell witch is a reminder that there are forces that do not follow the rules of the living, beings of pure will and energy that can bridge the gap between the seen and the unseen. It is a history of the intelligent haunting, a reminder that sometimes the shadows speak back. Feel the grounding energy of the Tennessee earth. The soil here is deep and old, holding the secrets of the frontier. You are safe in your own sanctuary, protected by the passage of 200 years. The Bell Witch Cave remains a quiet, cold archive of the unexplained, where the temperature drops 10 degrees the moment you step inside. You are sinking into that same historical peace, where the terror of the past has transformed into the mystery of the present, and the history is a soft, rhythmic echo in the limestone walls. Consider the return of the witch. Kate promised to return 107 years later, in 1928. Many residents claimed the activity started again, faint whispers in the woods, strange lights near the cave, and the feeling of being watched. The mystery is a cool, dark wind, wrapping you in a sense of quiet awe. We don't need to hear the voice to feel the power of the legend, the belief that some spirits are tied to the land itself, enduring long after the houses they haunted have crumbled to dust. The spirit of the bell witch is a spirit of a presence, a way of knowing that we are never truly alone in the landscape. The wind through the hickory trees is like a low, haunting moan. It carries the stories of the Bell family and the thousands of seekers who have visited the cave, looking for a sign of the invisible. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the river and into the deep, quiet hollows where the owls watch the night. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are held by a world that has seen it all. The hills are protecting their secrets, and in doing so, they are protecting your sense of the incredible power of the human imagination and the spirit world. The cave is quiet now, the candles have been blown out, and the river flows silently past the bluff. The secrets of the bell witch are tucked away in the deep fissures of the rock and the unrecorded whispers of the Tennessee night. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the flickering hearth fire be your guide. It is a symbol of warmth and protection, a reminder that you are safe in the light of your own home. The sun has set, the air is still, and the Witch of Adams is silent. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the shadow of the bell witch is a reminder that the world is much stranger than we are taught. The earth has held this cave for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the Valley of the Whispers, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the river has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the limestone cliffs. Sleep now. The world is haunted and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the hollows and the wisdom of the hills. The cave is steady, the spirit is resting, and Tennessee is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the Red River, the wind is whispering through the cornfields, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The stink giant of the glades. As the chilling whispers of the bell witch fade into the humid air of the South, we travel deep into the heart of the Florida Everglades. This is a world of slow-moving water, sawgrass prairies, and ancient cypress swamps, a place where the land and the sea blur together in a vibrant, emerald expanse. But in the deepest, most inaccessible reaches of these wetlands, there is a legend that has terrified locals for generations. This is the story of the skunk ape, a massive, foul-smelling, bipedal entity that haunts the River of Grass. Imagine standing on a wooden boardwalk at the edge of the Big Cypress National Preserve as the sun dips below the horizon, turning the water into liquid gold. As you settle into the warmth of your bed, feel the heavy, tropical stillness of the swamp. The air here is thick with the scent of blooming orchids, damp peat, and the occasional, overwhelming stench of rotting vegetation, or something else. Since the 1970s, hundreds of sightings have described a creature 7 feet tall, covered in reddish-brown hair, with eyes that glow like embers in the dark. It is known as the skunk ape because of the pungent, sulfurous odor that precedes its arrival, a smell so strong it can stop a man in his tracks. The silence of the Everglades is a humming, living silence. In your mind, listen to the low, rhythmic chuff of an alligator and the distant, haunting cry of a limpkin. The skunk ape isn't just a Florida version of Bigfoot, it is a creature of the water. Sightings often describe it wading through waist-deep cypress strands or nesting in alligator holes. In 2000, the mystery gained worldwide attention when an anonymous woman mailed 2 photographs, the Myakka skunk ape photos, showing a large, ape-like face peering through the palmetto leaves. Despite endless analysis, the images remain unexplained. As your breath slows, think of the Calusa tribes who once ruled these swamps. They spoke of the hairy man, a guardian of the deep glades who must be respected and avoided. Why does it stay hidden? The Everglades cover 2 million acres of terrain that is nearly impossible for humans to navigate. To the skunk ape, this is a fortress. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine being in a small airboat, gliding silently through a tunnel of mangrove trees. You are safe in the craft, watching the ripples on the water. You aren't hunting the creature, you are acknowledging its domain. The skunk ape is a reminder that even in the 21st century, there are pockets of the world that remain wild, prehistoric, and completely sovereign. It is a history of the untamed South, a reminder that nature still keeps its most ancient residents in the shadows. Feel the warm, grounding energy of the Florida night. The humidity is like a soft, invisible blanket, protecting the life that thrives in the dark. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the sawgrass and the black water swamps. The Everglades are a vast, biological archive, where the mud holds the footprints of creatures we have yet to officially name. You are sinking into that same primal peace, where the passage of time is measured by the tides, and the history is a soft, rhythmic rustle in the sawgrass. Consider the Dave Shealy sightings, a man who has dedicated his life to documenting the creature. He describes them as shy, intelligent beings that live in small family groups, moving with the seasons. The mystery is a warm, tropical wind, wrapping you in a sense of quiet wonder. We don't need to capture the skunk ape to feel the power of its presence, the belief that the deep woods and the hidden swamps are still home to giants. The spirit of the skunk ape is a spirit of wildness, a way of knowing that the earth is still vast enough to hold a mystery that smells of the ancient world. The wind through the Spanish moss is like a low, soothing sigh. It carries the stories of the Miccosukee elders and the swamp hunters who have seen the red eyes in the dark, finding in the encounter a deep respect for the limits of human reach. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the sawgrass and into the deep, quiet strands where the ancient cypress trees stand like gray ghosts. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are held by a world that is still very much alive. The swamp is protecting its giants, and in doing so, it is protecting your sense of the incredible diversity of life. The glades are quiet now, the gators have slipped beneath the surface, and the stars are reflecting in the dark water. The secrets of the skunk ape are tucked away in the inaccessible islands and the hidden hammocks of the deep Everglades. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the green, endless horizon be your guide. It is a symbol of life and abundance, a reminder that you are part of a thriving, mysterious world. The sun has set, the air is warm, and the stink giant is at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the stink giant is a reminder that the world is more layered than we see at first glance. The earth has held these swamps for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the river of grass, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the horizon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver sawgrass. Sleep now. The world is wild and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the swamp and the wisdom of the water. The glades are steady, the giant is resting, and Florida is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the cypress, the wind is whispering through the mangroves, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. Sleep. Sleep. The harbinger of Point Pleasant. As the humid silence of the Everglades and the scent of the swamp fade away, we travel north, into the jagged, coal-rich ridges of West Virginia. We are entering the small town of Point Pleasant, nestled at the confluence of the Ohio and Kanawha rivers. But the atmosphere here feels different, charged, heavy, and electric. This is the story of the Mothman, a creature of shadow and light that appeared during 13 months of high strangeness, culminating in one of the greatest tragedies in American history. Imagine standing at the edge of the TNT area, a sprawling, abandoned World War II explosives manufacturing facility reclaimed by the forest. As you settle into the stillness of your room, feel the cool, damp mountain air of 1966. On a dark November night, two young couples driving near this facility saw something that should not exist, a man-sized figure, gray and translucent, with a wingspan of 10 feet and two massive, glowing red eyes that seemed to hypnotize those who looked into them. It didn't flap its wings, it simply rose vertically into the air and chased their car at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. The silence of Point Pleasant is a humming, nervous silence. In your mind, listen to the low, rhythmic shuff-shuff of giant wings in the dark. For over a year, hundreds of residents reported the same entity. It was seen perched on rooftops, standing in backyards, and hovering over the Silver Bridge. But the Mothman wasn't alone. Along with the sightings came men in black, strange, olive-skinned men in dark suits who asked cryptic questions, and a wave of UFO activity that turned the town into a global epicenter of the unexplained. As your breath slows, think of the prophecies. Residents reported vivid dreams of a coming disaster involving the river. Why did it appear? Some believe the Mothman is an interdimensional traveler, a thin spot, in reality. Others point to the Curse of Cornstalk, an 18th-century Shawnee chief who allegedly cursed the land for 200 years. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine the cold, steel geometry of the Silver Bridge. You are safe in the present, watching the history unfold from a distance. The Mothman wasn't a monster in the traditional sense. Many believe it was a harbinger, a silent, terrifying warning of the tragedy that occurred on December 15, 1967, when the bridge collapsed into the icy waters below. Once the bridge fell, the Mothman vanished, as if its mission were complete. Feel the grounding energy of the Appalachian Mountains. The earth here is old, made of ancient rock and deep coal seams. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the red eyes and the twisted steel. West Virginia is a vast, mountainous archive, where the fog holds the secrets of 1,000 years. You are sinking into that same somber peace, where the unknown is a weight that keeps the world balanced, and the history is a soft, rhythmic vibration in the mountain soil. Consider the Indrid Cold encounters, the mysterious, smiling man who reportedly communicated telepathically with locals during the Mothman era. The mystery is a cool, sharp wind, wrapping you in a sense of quiet awe. We don't need to explain the Mothman to feel the power of its legend, the belief that sometimes, the universe sends us signs that we are too small to understand until it is too late. The spirit of Point Pleasant is a spirit of awakening, a way of realizing that our reality is far more fragile than we think. The wind through the pines of the TNT area is like a low, haunting whistle. It carries the stories of the families who lived through those 13 months, finding in the trauma a deep, shared connection to the supernatural. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the river and into the deep, quiet hollows where the lights of the town twinkle in the dark. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are held by a world that has witnessed the extraordinary. The mountains are protecting their legends, and in doing so, they are protecting your sense of the profound mystery of time and fate. The town is quiet now, the new bridge stands strong, and the red eyes are gone from the sky. The secrets of the Mothman are tucked away in the rusted bunkers of the TNT area and the silent depths of the Ohio River. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the steady, calm river be your guide. It is a symbol of flow and endurance, a reminder that life continues even after the storm. The sun has set, the air is cool, and the harbinger is at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the Mothman of Point Pleasant is a reminder that we are part of a story much larger than ourselves. The earth has held these mountains for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the Valley of the Wings, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the horizon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver river. Sleep now. The world is mysterious and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the ridges and the wisdom of the watchers. The mountain is steady, the bridge is secure, and West Virginia is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the valley, the wind is whispering through the bunkers, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The quest for the hidden kingdom. As the red eyes of the Mothman fade into the Appalachian mist, we leave the soil of the American continent, but we do not leave the American story. In the 1920s and 30s, a strange fever took hold of some of the most influential minds in the United States, a belief that the ultimate secret of human history was hidden thousands of miles away, tucked behind the impenetrable ice walls of the Himalayas. This is the story of the American search for Shambhala, the hidden kingdom of the East, and the secret expeditions led by Nicholas Roerich and supported by the highest levels of the U.S. government. Imagine the biting, crystalline air of the high Gobi Desert. As you settle into your bed, feel the thin, pure atmosphere of the rooftop of the world. In 1924, Nicholas Roerich, a Russian-born American artist, philosopher, and mystic, set out on a massive expedition through Central Asia. But this wasn't just for art. Roerich, who was a close advisor to the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture and future Vice President Henry Wallace, believed he was on a mission to return a sacred fragment of the Chintamani stone, a wish-fulfilling jewel, from the stars, to the heart of the hidden kingdom of Shambhala. The silence of the Himalayas is a ringing, celestial silence. In your mind, listen to the low, rhythmic chanting of monks in a monastery perched on a cliffside so high it touches the clouds. Roerich's expedition was shrouded in mystery. He carried a diplomatic passport issued directly by the U.S. State Department and moved through areas closed to all outsiders. He believed that Shambhala was not just a myth, but a physical place, a subterranean sanctuary where the masters of wisdom watched over the fate of humanity. As your breath slows, think of the Roerich Pact, a treaty signed at the White House by 22 nations, symbolized by the banner of peace, 3 crimson spheres in a circle, representing the past, present, and future held together by the circle of eternity. Why was the American government so interested? Some believe Wallace and Roerich were looking for a new era of peace through spiritual intervention. Others whisper that they were searching for ancient technology, the great power mentioned in Tibetan scrolls that could control the weather and the mind. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine trekking through a narrow mountain pass where the snow turns to heat, and the air begins to shimmer. You are safe in the company of the explorers, feeling the pull of a civilization that has transcended war and greed. Shambhala is a reminder that the American dream often looked beyond its own borders for the ultimate truth, seeking a connection to a global, ancient heritage. Feel the cool, grounding energy of the mountain granite. The rock here is the oldest on Earth, holding the pressure of the entire world. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the avalanches and the thin air of the peaks. The Himalayas are a vast, frozen archive, where the ice preserves the secrets of a golden age. You are sinking into that same eternal peace, where the hidden kingdom is not a destination, but a state of mind, and the history is a soft, rhythmic resonance in the thinning air. Consider the sign of the 3 spheres. It was found on Roerich's paintings and later appeared on artifacts across the globe. The mystery is a sharp, cold wind, wrapping you in a sense of cosmic awe. We don't need to find the entrance to the hidden valley to feel the power of the quest, the belief that humanity is guided by a higher purpose, and that somewhere, the blueprint for a perfect world still exists. The spirit of the Shambhala quest is a spirit of ascension, a way of realizing that our history is tied to the stars and the highest peaks of our own potential. The wind through the prayer flags is like a low, soothing hum. It carries the stories of the lamas and the travelers who have glimpsed the shining city in the distance, finding in the vision a reason to keep moving toward the light. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the glaciers and into the deep, quiet valleys where the blue poppies grow. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are part of a world that is fundamentally sacred. The mountains are protecting their kingdom, and in doing so, they are protecting your sense of the divine mystery that connects all people. The peaks are quiet now, the expedition has returned to the city, and the banner of peace is still. The secrets of Shambhala are tucked away in the unmapped caves of the Kunlun Mountains and the silent meditations of the masters. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the white, snow-capped peak be your guide. It is a symbol of clarity and peace, a reminder that you are reaching for your own highest truth. The sun has set, the air is still, and the hidden kingdom is at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the quest for Shambhala is a reminder that there are treasures that cannot be bought or sold. The earth has held these mountains for eons, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the shadow of the world, a quiet soul in a land of ancient light. The light on the glacier has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver peaks. Sleep now. The world is vast and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the peaks and the wisdom of the masters. The mountain is steady, the master is sleeping, and the world is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the Himalayas, the wind is whispering through the prayer flags, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the night. The city in the sky. As the thin, icy air of the Himalayas fades into the warm, dry breeze of the American Southwest, we travel back to the desert floor of Arizona. It is March 13, 1997, a night that would change the lives of thousands of people across the state. The air is still, smelling of sun-baked dust and blooming creosote. This is the story of the Phoenix Lights, a sighting so massive, so public, and so undeniable that it forced the highest levels of government into a desperate game of damage control. Imagine standing on a balcony in the foothills of Phoenix, looking out over the valley. As you settle into the quiet of your room, feel the immense, electric stillness of that spring evening. At approximately 8 p.m., a massive, V-shaped craft, estimated to be the size of several football fields, emerged from the north. It moved silently, blocking out the stars as it glided slowly over the city. Thousands of witnesses, including pilots, police officers, and even the governor of Arizona, Fife Symington, watched in awe. This wasn't a light in the distance, it was a solid, mechanical structure, humming with a low-frequency energy that could be felt in the chest of those below. The silence of the Phoenix Desert is a vast, ringing silence. In your mind, listen to the absolute absence of sound as the V passed overhead. Despite its size, the craft produced no sonic boom, no engine roar, and no displacement of air. It was as if a piece of another dimension had simply drifted into our own. As your breath slows, think of the second event that night, the flares dropped over the Estrella Mountains. While the military claimed these were the source of the sightings, the thousands who saw the silent, star-blocking craft earlier that evening knew the truth. They had seen a city in the sky, a vessel so advanced it made human technology look like toys in the sand. Why did it appear over such a major city? Some believe it was a calculated reveal, a way for an advanced intelligence to introduce its presence to a large population without causing immediate panic. Others point to the magnetic anomalies of the Arizona mountains, which might act as a navigational beacon. As you drift further into relaxation, imagine watching those 5 amber lights moving in perfect formation across the sky. You are safe on the ground, witnessing a moment of cosmic history. You aren't afraid. You are part of a collective realization that we are not the only architects in the universe. The Phoenix Lights are a reminder that the sky is not a ceiling, but a vast, open doorway. Feel the grounding energy of the desert floor. The sand holds the heat of the day, releasing it slowly into the cool night air. You are safe in your own sanctuary, far from the press conferences and the debunkers. Arizona is a vast, ancient archive, where the petroglyphs of the past and the lights of the present share the same red rock. You are sinking into that same astronomical peace, where the unknown is a silent, soaring beauty, and the history is a soft, rhythmic blinking of lights on the edge of space. Consider the governor's later confession. Years after mocking the event with a staffer dressed in an alien costume, Governor Symington admitted that he had indeed seen the craft and that it was totally terrestrial-defying. The mystery is a warm, dry wind, wrapping you in a sense of quiet wonder. We don't need a government document to feel the power of that night, the belief that the universe is far more crowded and spectacular than we are led to believe. The spirit of the Phoenix Lights is a spirit of perspective, a way of remembering that our world is just one small town in a galaxy of cities. The wind through the saguaro cacti is like a low, soothing hum. It carries the stories of the thousands who stood on their rooftops that night, finding in the shared experience a new sense of curiosity about our place in the stars. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the mountains and into the deep, quiet canyons where the stars are the only lanterns. There is a deep, foundational comfort here, a feeling that you are held by a world that is constantly being visited by wonder. The desert is protecting its visitors, and in doing so, it is protecting your sense of the infinite possibility of the future. The sky is quiet now, the amber lights have vanished into the south, and the valley is at rest. The secrets of the Phoenix Lights are tucked away in the classified radar logs and the vivid memories of the people of Arizona. As you sink deeper into your bed, let the image of the steady, silent formation be your guide. It is a symbol of order and grace, a reminder that there is a logic to the universe that we are still learning to read. The sun has set, the air is still, and the city in the sky is long gone. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story of the Phoenix Lights is a reminder that the world is much larger than our daily worries. The earth has held these deserts for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect safety. You are safe in the Valley of the Stars, a quiet soul in a land of ancient echoes. The light on the horizon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver sand. Sleep now. The world is vast and the night is long. The path to rest is through the silence of the desert and the wisdom of the skies. The desert is steady, the lights are gone, and Arizona is at peace. The constellations are aligning over the peaks, the wind is whispering through the sage, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark heart of the American night. The center of the universe. As the amber lights of Phoenix drift into the celestial distance, we travel to our final destination, a small, unassuming town in the rugged panhandle of Idaho called Wallace. Here, in the middle of a brick-paved intersection at Bank and 6th Street, lies a manhole cover embossed with the words, "Center of the Universe." This is the story of the center of the universe, a place where logic, law, and the cosmic fabric of the American landscape come together in one final, defiant mystery. Imagine standing on that steel manhole cover in the crisp mountain air of Idaho. As you settle into the ultimate comfort of your bed, feel the grounding weight of this journey's end. In 2004, the mayor of Wallace officially proclaimed this spot the center of the universe, using probabilistic logic. If you can't prove it isn't the center, then it must be. But beyond the playful declaration lies a deeper truth. Wallace is one of the few places on Earth that is totally protected. It was once so difficult to bypass that the government had to build a massive viaduct over the town just to complete the interstate. It is a town that refused to be erased, a pocket of reality that stood its ground against the march of the modern world. The silence of Wallace is a proud, resonant silence. In your mind, listen to the echo of your footsteps on the bricks. We have traveled from the moving stones of Death Valley to the underwater pyramids of the Great Lakes, from the red eyes of the Mothman to the crystalline cities beneath Mount Shasta. As your breath slows, realize that the center of the universe is not just a coordinate in Idaho, it is a state of being. It is the point where the mysterious and the mundane meet. Every location we have visited is a thin spot in the veil, a reminder that the history of America is not just written in textbooks, but in the soil, the wind, and the silent, glowing lights of the night sky. Why did we take this journey? To remember that we live in a world that is still very much alive with wonder. As you drift into the deepest relaxation of the night, imagine all the mysteries we've explored as threads of light, crisscrossing the map of the continent. You are safe at the center of these threads. You are the observer, the keeper of the stories. The secret history is not a collection of facts, but a feeling, a sense that behind every mountain and beneath every lake, there is a pulse of the extraordinary. You aren't just a resident of the world, you are a participant in its infinite, unfolding mystery. Feel the final, grounding energy of the entire continent. From the Atlantic megaliths to the Pacific nightcrawlers, the land is supporting you. You are safe in your own sanctuary, at the center of your own universe. The American landscape is a vast, open-air temple, where every mystery is a prayer and every shadow is a story. You are sinking into the ultimate peace, where the questions are more beautiful than the answers, and the history is a soft, rhythmic heartbeat shared by the earth and the stars. Consider the unbroken chain. From the ancient builders of the mounds to the modern witnesses of the Phoenix Lights, we are all part of the same search for truth. The mystery is a cool, gentle breeze, wrapping you in a sense of total completion. We don't need to solve the puzzles to be transformed by them, the belief that the world is a sacred, haunted, and spectacular place is enough. The spirit of the center of the universe is a spirit of home, a way of knowing that wherever you stand with an open mind, you are exactly where you need to be. The wind through the pines of the Idaho Panhandle is like a final, soothing lullaby. It carries the echoes of all 30 parts of our journey, the whispers of the bell witch, the hum of Taos, and the magnetism of the coral castle. You are moving with that wind, drifting over the mountains and into the deep, quiet spaces of your own dreams. There is a deep, eternal comfort here, a feeling that you are held by a universe that loves its secrets. The earth is protecting you, and in doing so, it is protecting the wonder that lives inside your heart. The intersection in Wallace is quiet now, the manhole cover is cold under the moonlight, and the stars are reflecting in the shop windows. The secrets of the secret history are tucked away in the marrow of the mountains and the ink of the stars. As you sink into the final depths of sleep, let the image of the golden compass be your guide. It is a symbol of your own intuition, a reminder that you always know the way. The sun has set, the air is still, and the center of the universe is at rest. The land is old, the air is still, and the heart of the mystery is beating in time with your own. Rest your head on the pillow of the night. The story is told, the journey is complete, and the world is yours to dream. The earth has held these mysteries for millennia, and it will hold you tonight in perfect, absolute safety. You are safe at the center of all things, a quiet soul in a land of infinite light. The light on the horizon has faded, and the moon is reflecting on the silver world. Sleep now. The world is magic and the night is yours. The path to rest is through the silence of the soul and the wisdom of the journey. The world is steady, the mysteries are resting, and you are at peace. The constellations are aligning for you, the wind is whispering your name, and the mystery is tucked away in the deep, dark, beautiful heart of the night. Sleep. Sleep. Sleep.